It's WFUV New York. Wherever you are, we'll be there with you.
It's 90.7 FM, WFUV, New York. The next segue you'll hear is from music to sports. We're handing off to the WFUV sports crew and live coverage of Fordham University men's basketball. The game will be on 90.7 FM, but the music doesn't stop. You can keep listening to this show online. Just open up the WFUV app or head to WFUV.org.
After a tough loss in the Battle of the Rams on Tuesday night, Fordham men's basketball is right back at it. The Rams are looking to respond and secure their third win in 4 games this afternoon against St. Bonaventure. Day-Day Reeves has been nothing short of sensational in his first season on Rose Hill. The transfer guard poured in 31 points the last time these two teams met back on January 10th, and he'll be looking to make history repeat itself today. But St. Bonaventure wants to lay claim to being the top team in New York in the Atlantic 10. Led by that dynamic duo of Buddy Simmons and Frank Mitchell, they come in hungry to avenge a narrow loss to Fordham earlier this season. So the question stands, do the Rams shake off Tuesday's heartbreak and keep climbing the standings, or do the Bonnies storm Rose Hill and settle the score? It's New York bragging rights on the line, it's Fordham versus St. Bonaventure, and it's right now on WFUV Sports. And we welcome you into the Rose Hill Gymnasium on this frightfully chilly Saturday afternoon. I hope everyone listening, particularly those in the tri-state area, I hope you're inside, you're bundled up, but most importantly, I hope you're ready for some A10 men's basketball between your 12-11 Fordham Rams and the visiting 13-10 St. Bonaventure Bonnies. I'm Thomas Tisdale, joined alongside by Nathan Rogers. Nathan, this Fordham team has been playing some really strong, confident basketball as of late, but fell on Tuesday night to VCU. How important is it for Fordham to get back in the win column today?
Yeah, Fordham Rams basketball has been playing their best brand of basketball in the last 3.5 weeks. They're coming off great wins against LaSalle and a great team in GW, and they fell at home against VCU, but really hard fought. And this team's starting to come together with McPio's first season, and the team's really starting to have that cohesion essence of Fordham brand basketball. So it's going to be a great matchup today. Got that New York rivalry. It's packed here in Rose Hill. So we're out for a great matchup here, and always excited to be here at Rose Hill.
Yeah, going to be an absolutely electric matchup today. But first, before we get you into the action, we got to catch up with Fordham coach Mike McPio before today's game. Take a listen. Thomas Tisdale and Nathan Rogers here with Fordham head coach Mike McPio ahead of today's game against St. Bonaventure. Coach, close loss to VCU on Tuesday night, but before that you had really 2 strong victories against LaSalle and GW. What have you been doing the past few days as you try to continue the momentum of some really positive performances and pick up a win today?
It's just a lot of what we've been doing. Over the last 6 weeks, the guys have been really practicing well, operating well. There's a good professionalism inside the way that these guys are maneuvering, and just more of the same the last 2 days. Definitely trying to make sure we stay healthy. A little banged up today. We'll be without Jack Whitbourne. But the guys are in a good place. They should be ready to attack this thing. I think we want to learn from the last game and make sure we have the right attitude to the start of the game, and hopefully get off to a good start.
Fordham is 19th in the country in opponent points per game. Very good defense. What is the defensive game plan for you guys tonight, especially, like you said, without Whitbourne in the paint? What is going to be the game plan tonight?
Yeah, we got 2 guys. They're pretty talented starting 5. All of them can score in some way, shape, or form. But all eyes are going to be on 0-0 Mitchell. It takes up a lot of space down there. We're going to need to bring help, especially without Jack today. And then number 8, he had 25 against us last game, and he's hot. He's just continued to. He's a 3rd leading scorer in the A10. He can score in a variety of ways, but it's really no threes for that guy. And then surround 0-0. Now, number 24 did have 20 against us in that first game, Charles. So we'll have to focus on just matching his energy and his aggressiveness. But it really does start with Mitchell, and that's why we came out over the top. On top of the last game. We didn't really defend him that well that first game. We scored well, but didn't defend him well. So hopefully we can do the job and shut down number 0 and number 8.
Like you mentioned, Whitbourne's out today with an injury, and he had a double-double in 35 minutes in the last matchup against St. Bonaventure. How will the rest of the team adjust in his absence?
Man, we've been dealing with injuries and different rosters and lineups all year, and I think the guys are just in a flow, oddly enough, in that way that it's always been next man up mentality. Guys have done a good job. I think guys that are ready to play more minutes are excited about it, and we'll have to figure it out as we go. But we got, I feel like, 9 to 10 guys that are playable that can really impact the game in some way, shape, or form. And, you know, fortunately for us, St. Bonaventure, they really only play 7, and their starting 5 really play over 34 minutes a game, each one of them. So it should be an even match there.
This is your first time seeing the same A10 opponent so far in conference play, and you've already beat them. You saw them kind of creep back early in that second half. You guys went on a scoring drought. What is going to be the point of emphasis in the first 10 minutes offensively to attack them?
Man, it's going to be – I expect some change in defenses. We'll see if I'm right. I feel like if they've watched some of our previous games, they might slow it up. They can throw out their 2-3 zone and whatnot and see if they can jam us up in that way. You know, that was a back-and-forth game. Could have gone either way. And really, I think it's going to be who – both teams are desperate for one. This is a big game. Obviously, it's a rivalry game. And I just think the team that comes out with the right attitude and that more desperate, aggressive mentality coming out, it may win you a few possessions that will matter down the stretch.
Danny Reeves erupted for 31 points as career high the last time you faced St. Bonaventure. The Bonnies will undoubtedly plan to slow him down. How will you ensure that he continues to get looks while the rest of the team can find an offensive rhythm?
Yeah, but he's done a good job. I feel like everybody's been focusing on him, either doubling him or denying him or being really, really physical with him. And, early on, the best way for him to do it is let the game come to him. If they start doubling and trapping him, get it out of his hands and let the other guys make plays. So we'll count on just like our team style of basketball. And then, yes, we do like Day-Day to close it down the stretch, and hopefully we've tired those guys out, especially the starting guards, Simmons and Bowens, who play a lot of minutes by then, and hopefully we've been able to use, I think we might have a little more depth than them, and Day-Day's got enough juice to close this thing down the stretch.
All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Tip-off between Fordham and St. Bonaventure is just moments away, and it's next on WFUV Sports.
I'm Kurt Sippel, telling you to tune into One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Catch us live every Saturday on our WFUV Sports YouTube Live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and later on 90.7 WFUV from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We break down the week's latest headlines with our collection of tri-state area beat reporters, along with interviews with your favorite athletes and media personalities. WFUV is your home to talk all things New York sports.
And we welcome you again back into the Rose Hill Gymnasium. As Nathan mentioned, it's absolutely packed out here, but it's important to note that the Bonnie faithful are large in number. They've come out, they recognize the importance of a matchup. It's an intrastate, it's a New York rivalry, and we're just a few minutes away from tip-off here. But Nathan, what is going to be key in this game for Fordham to get the dub?
Yeah, we got 3 keys to the game here for Fordham, coming off a tough loss against VCU, but very hard fought. And first of all eyes are going to be on 00 Frank Mitchell of the Bonnies. We got to contain him here with the Fordham Rams. Fordham's biggest built-in edge is on the boards. They almost have a +9 rebounding margin. That has to show up by finishing defensive possessions and not letting the Bonnies get Frank Mitchell hot and get him in the post. Secondly, if you're the Fordham Rams, you have to win the arc. Fordham Rams are 19th in the country in opponent points per game. That's better than teams like Kansas, even #1 ranked Arizona, Gonzaga. The list goes on and on. They have a great defense, but the Bonnies are really good at shooting the ball from 3. And Buddy Simmons II is a 41% three-point shooter. He's one of the best in the A10, if not in the country as a marksman. They can't let him find rhythm from beyond the arc. And lastly, don't let the foot off the gas if you're the Rams. The last time around, Fordham was up by 10-plus points early in that second half and let that lead slip away and almost got the Bonnies to close out that game. Mike McPaio's defense has to turn some defense, generate some offense possessions for the Rams.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't agree more with all 3 of those points. that you made. And like Nathan mentioned, this is the first matchup for Mike Magpayo in which he is playing another A10 team again. Fordham took down St. Bonaventure earlier in the season, 81-77, and that was Fordham's first A10 win, and Coach Mike Magpayo's first A10 win of his Fordham career. And Fordham, along the way, has picked up 2 more wins, but it can't be understated how important it is for Fordham to reassert the rhythm. They lost a close game to VCU in which they were down 16, clawed their way back to make it a 2-point game with 30 seconds left, but ultimately couldn't pull out the victory. And we're just about a minute away from tip-off here, so we're going to get you set with the starting lineups. We'll start with the visiting Bonnies, and you better remember these names because they rely on these starters heavy. Frank Mitchell, the star player for the Bonnies, of course he's starting. Achille Lanati, the freshman from Italy, hasn't played much this season, but he's in. Caden Charles, he scored 20 on Fordham earlier this season. He's in for the Bonnies. Abu Noe, the senior from Memphis, Tennessee, he's in. And Buddy Simmons, he's 7th in scoring in the A10. He's going to round out the Bonnie starting lineup. Now, flipping over to the hosting Rams. With Jack Whitborn out, Abbas Bodija, he's stepping in for the injured center from Australia. Rika Schulte, the double-double machine, he starts for the Rams. Akira Jacobs, he's starting. Day Reeves, the focal point of this Rams offense, he gets the start tonight. And Christian Henry. Coach Magpayo said before the game that this team lives and dies by how well Christian Henry plays. And we're going to get underway here at the Rose Hill Gymnasium. It's going to be Rika Schulte versus Frank Mitchell for the tip-off. And we're underway. Mitchell wins it for the Bonnies. Buddy Simmons bringing it across half court, guarded by Day. Lanati finding Abunawe. Back to Lanati. Left front court, guarded by Christian Henry. Mitchell, guarded by Schulte. He turns the ball over. Christian Henry pushing in transition. Finds Bodija, and he throws it down. Fordham up 2-0, 19:30 left in this first half.
And how about an energetic start for the Rams here at Whiteout at Rose Hill Gymnasium? Mike Magpayo's emphasis offensively in the first 10 minutes is get in transition. Did it just there with Bodija in Jack Whitborn's absence.
Mitchell, guarded by Schulte. Continuing to back down Schulte. Finds Charles. His 3 is good. Bonnies take back the lead 3-2. 19 minutes left here in the first half.
One of the keys to the game here, Thomas, was you got to win the arc, got to win beyond the arc. And if you get the bench players and players other than Buddy Simmons hop beyond 3, it's going to be a tough game for the Fordham Rams.
Schulte now backing down Mitchell. Still working on Mitchell. Into the paint. Low hook. No good. Couldn't find the rim. And Lanati pushing the pace for the Bonnies. 3 for Charles, and he does it again. His corner 3 is good. He's already got 6 points.
Yeah, not what you want if you're Mike Magpayo defensively so far. Got to close out your wings here. And for Fordham, the Bonnies are the 5th fastest team in terms of pace in the A10. They're already out to a hot start.
Bodija finding Reeves, left wing. His 3 is good. Rattles around the rim and in. Fordham answers. It's now 5-6. Rams trailing 18 minutes left here in the first.
Day-Day's the heartbeat of this offense. He's the floor general, and he had 31 last time out against the Bonnies away. 6 assists and 4 steals. He's the heartbeat.
Mitchell turned the ball over again. Schulte finding Day in transition, and his layup, easy as you like. Fordham up 7-6. Buddy Simmons trying to push the pace a little bit. Finds Mitchell on the script logo, driving on Schulte. His layup. And an offensive foul called on Mitchell. And that's been a point of emphasis for Fordham in the first matchup, and they're able to do it again early here in this one.
And how about 4 straight points for Day in transition and letting his body do the work down on that near side block against one of the A10's finest, Frank Mitchell.
Excellent stuff there from the grad student transfer from Iona. Henry bringing it up, taking the screen. Finds Bodija. Bodija driving on the left. His layup over the much smaller Caden Charles. And Fordham extends their lead 9-6, 17-22 left here in the first.
Yeah, Bodija's a great player. He's one of those players that followed McPile for a reason from Riverside. He's putting on display why he deserves to be a starting player on this team today.
Mitchell on the logo, finding Lenati. The freshman guarded by Christian Henry. Back to Mitchell. In the left, he's doubled. Has nowhere to go. Able to spin out of it somehow. Finds Buddy Simmons, guarded by Reeves. His jumper, unable to get it to fall. Mitchell trying to grab the rebound, and it's out on the senior from Ontario. Fordham really excellent so far on defense.
Bonnie's trying to do their best to get the ball to their best playmaker in Frank Mitchell, and Fordham's not letting them do that at all. And that free throw line extended near side wing, just trapping with both hands. Great job defensively for the 19th best statistical defense in the country in the Fordham Rams.
Christian Henry. A bit of an odd pass there to Schulte, almost drops for him. Lenati, transition three. It's short. Day with the rebound. He's pushing the praise. Tries to find Bodija, but just too strong for the forward from Australia to corral there, and it's Bonnie's ball.
All 10 players on the court now breathing pretty heavily, and it's no surprise due to the high-paced offense that both of these teams play. And if the Fordham Rams want to keep up with these Bonnies, got to play your half-court defense, bring the shot clock all the way down, force a tough shot.
Mitchell driving. Big body there from Schulte. Schulte trying to draw the contact, but Mitchell too hard on the little floater there. Day bringing it forward for Fordham. Finds Akira Jacobs. Schulte guarded by Mitchell. Jacobs here on the left wing. Finds Christian Henry. He's driving with his right hand, and he gets the layup to drop. Fordham up 11-6. 15:54 left here in the first half.
Strength in numbers so far for the Rams. You got 3 players making a real impact, and even all players making an impact on defense. Looks like Christian Henry is going to get checked out near the sideline by the trainer. Looks like he'll be fine, but how about the Rams starting off so great offensively in transition? It's been something they've been struggling with all season, especially in A10 conference play. Forcing a timeout for one of the best offensive teams in the league in the first 5 minutes. Great to see here at Rose Hill.
Yeah, important to note for St. Bonaventure, Caden Charles, the only one with points so far. He's got all 6 of the Bonnies' points, but we'll step away for just a moment. Fordham up 11-6 on St. Bonaventure, 15:54 left here in this first half. We'll be right back.
Hey, what's up? It's Owen Kelty, one of WFUV Sports' New York Knicks beat reporters. Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks look to dominate the East and bring a championship back to New York. Keep up all season long on my X account at Owen Kelty for all the highs and lows of New York Knicks basketball. WFUV Sports is your home for all things Knicks.
And we welcome you back into the Rose Hill Gymnasium for a New York rivalry match between your Fordham Rams and the St. Bonaventure Bonnies. Fordham's up 11-6, just under 16 minutes left to play here in the first half. Really encouraging signs on both ends of the floor for Fordham so far.
Yeah, and St. Bonaventure really prides himself in resilience. And we saw in their last outing against Dayton, St. Bonaventure showed serious fight, rallying from an early deficit, and they cut it to almost one possession, but ultimately fell 72-70, and really a back and forth game. And we saw that again when Fordham, in their last outing against St. Bonaventure up in upstate New York, really they just have all the fight and they don't give up. And Fordham has to not let their foot off the gas here. So great start if you're Mike McPile's Rams. You love your starting 5. Looks like Roracor will step in, and they'll go with Bodija, Okor, Christian Henry, Day, and Akira for their 5. And it looks like they'll kind of start with an impromptu kind of pseudo full court press here, kind of put some pressure on the Bonnies a little bit early.
Yeah, to keep them working hard. Buddy Simmons guarded by Day. He passes the midcourt line. Simmons still takes the screen. His three is good. Nothing but net for Buddy Simmons, and he cuts the lead to 2. Fordham 11, St. Bonaventure 9.
Bonnies 3 for 4. That's good for 75% from beyond the arc so far.
Jacobs passes back to Henry. Henry getting doubled, finds a core in the middle. His baby floater is good. Gets knocked down. Buddy Simmons trying to push the pace a little bit here. Charles finds Simmons. Simmons driving. His floater, no good, but the putback from Osasui, the freshman from Italy. A lot of Italian representation on this Bonnies team. His answer is good.
Yeah, he's a 6'9 freshman, just has so much raw talent. He's a true freshman big, and he doesn't headline stats, but he really brings a physical presence.
Bodija down low. A tough physical finish, looking for the foul, but he gets the layup to drop. Lenati out here on the right wing. Tries to find Osasui, but a bit of a low pass there, and it's out on the Bonnies. Fordham up 15-11, 14-30 here in the first.
And credit to Fordham's defense. They're really suffocating the driving lanes, especially on each low side block. Bonnies can't get anything, any bounce pass, any lob pass into Frank Mitchell or any of their bigs down low. And there's a reason why they're struggling in the paint so far in these first 6 minutes.
Frank Mitchell noticeably out. He averages about 37 minutes or 33 minutes per game. He had 37 his last game, so I think they're going to try to reduce his workload just a tiny bit. St. Bonaventure, their roster, they've got 4 of the top 12 in the conference in minutes per game. They rely on their starters, and they rely on them heavily. Henry, guarded by Charles, bringing across midcourt, takes the screen from a core. Now from a Schulte, finds a core in the corner. His three, no good. Schulte trying to get on the offensive glass there, unable to corral it. Simmons pushing it for St. Bonaventure. Finds Lenati, top of the key. Finds Lenati again. Lenati driving. Tries to throw a bit of a lob pass there, unable to connect with Osasui. And Christian Henry now has the ball for the Rams.
Yeah, good look there for the Bonnies. Just kind of an ill-advised pass.
Christian Henry, jumper from 10 feet is money. Christian Henry, they need to get him involved on offense. He's a focal point for this offense. Simmons guarded by Day. Working hard on Day. Day able to poke it free. Can't quite track it down. Lenati now driving. Pulls up his dribble. Tosses it back, and that's a backcourt violation. Just too strong there from the freshman from Italy, and that's another turnover for St. Bonaventure.
Fordham defense making life so difficult for the Bonnies opening up this first half. Bonnies just can't get anything going passing-wise. All the passing lanes are suffocated, and credit to Day and Christian Henry for closing out their wings and really just sticking on their man-to-man defense. It's proving to be so successful so far, and the lid's coming off the basket offensively as well.
Henry guarded by Charles on the script logo. Takes the screen from a core. Now guarded by Grujovic. A core working on Grujovic. Sizes him up. Passes to Henry. Henry, his pass to Reeves in the corner. His three is no good. And a core trying to fight for that offensive rebound ends up committing the foul. But we talk about taking the ball, and that's a point of emphasis for St. Bonaventure. They're 4th in the A-10 in turnover margin, but they've already got 6 so far. They average about 11 per game, so really unusual for the Bonnies. Simmons bringing across the timeline. Guarded by Reeves. Finds Osasui. Guarded by Schulte. Really physical defense from Osasui. Charles, his mid-range jumper. Air ball. Christian Henry trying to push the pace. Stumbles a bit, loses the ball. Lenati able to pick it up. 3-on-2 for St. Bonaventure. Osasui goes through two defenders and is able to get the layup to go. Fordham up 17-13.
Christian Henry caught that air ball and tried to get out in transition. He just had 1 foot in front of the other too fast and got his eye off the ball, turned into a turnover.
Christian Henry, what a lob to Louis Lesmond, and Louis Lesmond able to flush it down. Lenati tries to answer with the three of his own. Akor able to corral the rebound.
And how about get back Christian Henry, especially after kind of a subpar game last game out against VCU at home and St. Bonnie's last time, really bringing the energy so far.
Schulte fires to Akor. Akor, his three, unable to get it to drop. Charles, spin move, driving. Surrounded by 5 Rams, but he draws the foul. Fordham up 19 to St. Bonaventure's 13 with 11:39 left here in the first half.
Fordham doing such a good job of suffocating the Bonnies in the paint. Fordham has 16 points in the paint so far to Bonnie's 4. And we saw it there in that play, like you said, suffocating them with all 5 players, even when the ball just is in there for only 1 second in the paint. Fordham doing such a good job of making life difficult, and it's definitely delivering results early.
Yeah, absolutely. Your Fordham Rams up 19 to St. Bonaventure's 13, 11:39 here in the first half, and that's going to take us to the under 12 media timeout, and we're going to send it back to the Rose Hill studio for a one-on-one scoreboard with Gabby Price. Take it away, Gabby.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
It's a busy day of buckets in the A-10. 3 different games, including Fordham and St. Bonaventure, tipped off at 2 p.m. Rhode Island is hosting Richmond in a tight matchup so far. That score is 15-11 for the home team. The George Washington Revolutionaries are visiting the Duquesne Dukes. They have an 18-14 advantage right now. LaSalle is out west in St. Louis, where at 3 p.m. they will look to give the Billikens their first conference loss and their first loss at home. St. Louis is 10-0 in the conference and 15-0 at home. A little later at 4 p.m., St. Joseph's will look for revenge against George Mason, who knocked the St. Joe's Hawks out of the A-10 tournament last year. Until then, stay right here for Fordham versus St. Bonaventure. I'll be back in a bit with another A-10 Hoops score update. With your one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Gabby Price.
And we welcome you back inside the Rose Hill Gymnasium on, again, a really absolutely cold Saturday afternoon. I feel like it's my civic duty to make sure that everyone listening is inside and bundled up because, you know, the feels like here, -11, certainly not a pleasant weather or temperature to be out here.
It hurts.
It hurts, you know.
Physically and emotionally.
Yeah, but that clearly has not discouraged the Fordham fans from coming out here and showing in numbers.
It's a full house in here.
It's a full house, and no doubt if Fordham has the lead going into the second half, it's going to be loud and it's going to be rocking.
Oh, yeah.
Simmons now working on Schulte. Abunaway guarded by Louis Lesmond. Finds Grahovic. Tries to find Mitchell down low, and the foul called there on Akira Jacobs. Tough physical defense against Frank Mitchell, and he just crossed that line.
Yeah, that was against Schulte there, and, you know, defensively without Whitbourne, that big body down low, you really have to just do more. And he tried to reach around on that backside of Frank Mitchell and try to do everything he can to disrupt him, result in a foul. They'll inbound the ball with 20 left in the shot clock.
Mitchell guarded by Louis Lesmond. Finds Simmons. His mid-range jumper from about 10 feet is money. He cuts the deficit to 4. 11 minutes left here in the first.
Yeah, he's a top 5 scorer in the A-10 for a reason. He's already up to 5 here in this game. Can't let him get hot if you're the Fordham Rams.
Dede weaving, but blocked by Grahovic. St. Bonaventure in transition. Charles, pull-up jumper. Gets it to drop. They cut the deficit to 2. It's Fordham 19, St. Bonaventure 17. Under 11 here in the first.
Yeah, Bonnie's role players do such a good job protecting the rim. You saw it there, and they got in transition too fast for the Fordham Rams.
Louis Lesmond, right wing 3. Way too strong off the backboard there, and Charles pushing it for the Bonnies. He's driving. Trying to find Mitchell inside. Louis Lesmont almost blindsided there by Charles, but able to retain the ball. Schulte working on Grahovic. Hard foul there. He split in between Mitchell and Grahovic there and able to draw the foul. He'll go to the line for 2.
Yeah, Fordham isn't a good team at getting to the charity stripe and getting those easy profit off those points. That's going to be a point of emphasis so far in the rest of these, last 8 or so games until A10 playoff tournament play. And Mike McPile kind of talking about take those easy points while you can and get to the line.
Schulte, about a 70% free throw shooter. He misses the first one. And he'll look to split the pair of free throws here with his second. And he misses it badly. And goes out of bounds.
Yeah, can't afford to miss those if you're Schulte here. You'll take a rest. It'll be Rurikor, Akira, Marcus Green, Day, and Bodija. But if you get to the line, get those easy points, you can't afford to lose those, especially in what's going to be such a close game down the stretch.
Yeah, you gotta find a way to make those free shots. Charles guarded by Green. Finds Grahovic. Abunawe finding Mitchell down low. Mitchell still somehow has the ball. Finds Simmons. He's on the left wing, guarded by Dede. 4 seconds left. Trying to find a shot. Abunawe, his 3. Can't get it to drop. Mitchell on the floor. Tough box out there from Bodija, and he draws the foul from Grahovic, who is trying to grab that offensive rebound.
Yeah, it's going to be Grahovic's second personal, but great defensive outing for the Fordham Rams so far with under 10 minutes to go in the first half. Again, we talk about how suffocating they've been so far. There's a reason why they're 19th in the country and lowest opponent points allowed, and it's for a reason. We saw it there, and look, the Fordham bigs, they're so lengthy that Frank Mitchell can't even get the inbound pass and any bounce pass even remotely on an island out there.
Yeah, they did a great job limiting him in the first matchup of the season, and they're doing a great job so far here today. Bodija working on, blocked by Osasui. Green and a jump ball called there.
It'll remain Fordham ball. Great hustle play by one of the X factors on this team, Marcus Green. He actually went to my rival high school, Archbishop Mitty.
Oh.
Shout out Bay Area. But look, he played for Hawaii. He's a great player, and he got that rebound and ripped the ball out of the Bonnies' hand. It'll be an inbound with 11 seconds on the shot clock.
Dede Reeves inbounding. Finds Bodija. Guarded by Osasui. Green now, his right wing 3. Can't get it to drop. And Abunawe able to pull down the rebound. They're trying to find Mitchell. Get to Mitchell. Charles now driving. Foul line jumper is money. St. Bonaventure tries to score. It's Fordham 19, St. Bonaventure 19. Under 9 here in the first.
The reason why that play opened up so well for the Bonnies is because Frank Mitchell has so much gravity on the floor. He just attracts so many defenders. It opens up driving lanes for other Bonnies.
Jacobs, a long 3. Can't get it to drop, and Simmons with the rebound. Working on Reeves. Finds Osasui. Charles now here on the right wing. Finds Simmons. Passing around the perimeter.
Marcus Green will be called for a blocking foul there. He just wasn't set. Had a blazing hot Bonnie in Simmons just running down the court, and it was just too hot, too strong for him, so he'll go to the line here.
Abunawe, actually.
It will be Abunawe, excuse me, and another opportunity for the Bonnies to take the first lead of the game so far.
Abunawe gets to the first one to drop, and St. Bonaventure is going to get their first lead of the night, of the afternoon, I should say. They're up 20-19, 8:30 here in the first.
And for our listeners, I'm looking around. I don't think there's an open seat here at Rose Hill, which hasn't happened so far this season. Credit to the Bonnies for traveling so well, but also the Fordham student bodies almost packed the whole student section.
Yeah, I think the crowd understands the gravity of the situation. They know how important it is for Fordham to get a win here and for St. Bonaventure also to get a win here. So it's absolutely packed out despite the cold weather, despite the 6-hour drive it took to get here. We've got a packed Rose Hill Stadium. Louis Lesmond driving. Checks it back out to Henry. Guarded by Charles. Finds Jacobs. Back to Bodija. Henry now taking the screen from Bodija. Driving on his left. Finds Bodija down low. Blocked by Abunaway. And that's the third block here by St. Bonaventure. And the crowd lets out a mix of groans and cheers. It's probably about 50-50, I would say, in terms of crowd size. Rika Schulte checking back in. And Bodija checking out for the Rams.
That's the second almost Avengers-like just interception up top for the Bonnies, blocking a Fordham Ram shot. And credit to Abunaway, he's a reliable forward, but so much quality depth inside for the Bonnies.
An inbound, trying to find Rika Schulte. But Osasui able to get his hands on it. It'll still be a side out for Fordham, but only 2 seconds left here on the shot clock. Christian Henry, the inbound. Finds Schulte. He's got to get a shot up, but he can't. Osasui takes it, and he'll go coast to coast with the slam. Christian Henry bringing it across midcourt, trying to stem the bleeding here for just a moment. Green passes to Jacobs. Akor. Back to Jacobs, passing around the perimeter. Henry, his left wing three. Can't get it to drop. It's short.
Fordham is 1 of 7 from beyond the arc.
Mitchell, his layup is good. Fordham needs a timeout. Bonnies on quite the run. They're up 25 to Fordham's 19. 7:30 left here in the first half. Just a really disastrous couple of minutes so far for Fordham.
Yeah, just kind of falling apart here if you're the Fordham Rams. Scoreless in the last 4.5 minutes. And credit to the Bonnies defense. Christian Henry trying to inbound the ball. He had that mishap against VCU with about 4 seconds left in the game. He was eyeing Day-Day Reeves, and it forced a turnover, and we saw it there. He had Rurakor open on that driving lane for the lob with 2 seconds on the shot clock. He passed it away to the other team, and in transition had that Spider-Man-like dunk for the Bonnies, and they're up 25-19 with 7:30 left in this half. Point of emphasis in these last 7 minutes, get in transition, defense into offense for the Rams.
It's a 12-0 run for the Bonnies in the last 4.5 minutes. So the Bonnies doing something right. But we're going to take a step away for just a moment. We'll have the remaining 7.5 minutes of action in the first half after these messages. Don't go anywhere.
Hi everyone, I'm Grace McCarran and I'm one of your 2025-26 New York Islanders beat reporters for WFUV Sports. Follow me on X at GraceMcCarran_ for live game updates, features, and other inside content from the island all season long. From the development of first overall pick Matthew Schaefer to incredible saves by Ilya Sorokin, WFUV Sports has you covered every step of the way as the Isles look towards the postseason. WFUV is your home for New York sports.
And we welcome you back into the Rose Hill Gymnasium for this A-10 men's basketball matchup between your Fordham Rams and the visiting St. Bonaventure Bonnies. St. Bonaventure's gone on quite a run here, Nathan. How does Fordham stop the bleeding and then go on a run of their own?
Yeah, Fordham's best way to generate offense is through rebounding. Rika Schulte is 12th in the nation in total offensive boards and offensive boards per game, with around 4 per game. And they need to get him more involved and clean up the glass a little bit. The Bonnies have so much depth inside. They're really just making life so hard, but Fordham needs to force the envelope down low. Throw some elbows, get physical. We talked to Mike McPowell before the game. He wanted his players to take a charge, get physical, get the bench involved. It's really an energy thing here, and we always talk about how the A-10 is a momentum league. Any team can beat any team at any time, maybe except for SLU at this point, who's top 20 in the country, but even teams like Dayton, G-Dub, Duquesne, they'll always fall to some teams. And look, Fordham can make a run here. They can even get a bye. Even if you play on that first day, it's not the end of the world, but they're knocking on the door to play in the second day, especially coming off a great loss against VCU, but this could be a great win for them.
Schulte got the pass from Jacobs there, but turns it over. Osasui with the slam, with authority. And the Bonnies extend their lead to 8.
Osasui is so athletic, so much raw talent, and his growth as a post finisher, and especially screener off ball for the Bonnies, is so valuable.
Schulte working on Osasui, hands it off to Reeves. Louis Lesmond, his right wing 3. Too strong. Schulte with the rebound though. Finds Lesmond down low. Checks it back out to Jacobs. Reeves now on the script logo. Fires to Jacobs. Jacobs driving. Right hand layup. Tipped there by Osasui. He's given quite the game for the freshman from Italy. Simmons now pushing the pace for the Bonnies. Finds Abunawe. His right wing 3. Can't connect. And Fordham can take a bit of a sigh of relief there. He was wide open, but unable to knock it down. Dede Reeves finds Jacobs. Louis Lesmond wide open on the right wing 3. He gets it to drop. Huge for Fordham. Stops a 14-0 Bonnies run.
And that's exactly why Louis Lesmond is on this team. He's a 3-and-D player. He played in the Ivy League. He's one of the marksmen on Harvard, and he came to Fordham to add that veteran presence and that perimeter presence as well, and he showed it just there.
Charles driving down low. Blocked by Louis Lesmond, but Charles able to hold on to it, and it's a jump ball in the direction, the possession arrow in the direction of St. Bonaventure, so they'll retain the ball. 12 seconds left here on the shot clock. Fordham down by 5, 22-27, under 6 here in the first.
Something to keep a note here. We talked to Mike McPowell before the game. He's going to stick with man-to-man until they break it, and you might want to see if Mike McPowell goes to a 2-3 zone quickly here. Frank Mitchell's still in the game, doing a good job of shutting him down, but they're sticking with man-to-man.
Abunawe finds Mitchell. Mitchell working on Schulte. Shot clock violation. A strong defensive possession for Fordham. Schulte has had a couple of shaky few plays here in the first, but strong defensive possession from him.
Yeah, that's the 8th turnover so far for the Bonnies. Kind of uncharacteristic offensively for them so far. And credit to the Fordham defense, just all hard out there.
Dede Reeves working on Simmons, takes the screen from Jacobs. Jacobs finds a core in the corner. His 3 is good. Fordham only down by 2 now. 5 minutes left here in the first.
Although Fordham shooting 3 of 11 from beyond the arc, they're getting their role players involved. Roarcore has real NBA potential. He's basically only 18, true freshman, great player.
Mitchell working on Schulte here in the corner. Long way away from the basket. Picks up his dribble. Finds Charles. Charles guarded by Lesmond. Takes the screen from Mitchell. Tries to drive. Hard foul there. Schulte tried to get a piece of that ball, but gets a little too much of the man there. And Charles still on the ground there, but he'll get up. He's been absolutely instrumental for this Bonnies team. It's a dynamic duo between Mitchell and Simmons, but Kane Charles is that third man right there and a necessary piece for St. Bonaventure.
Yeah, it's been a game of trenches so far, so physical down low, even on that near side block, but Bonnies will go to the line here. They've been kind of scoreless in the last 2.5 minutes, 1 of 4 from the field, so they'll look to get some easy profit off the charity stripe.
First free throw off the front rim, but trickles in there. St. Bonaventure up 28 to Fordham's 25. Just under 5 here in the first half.
Last time Fordham faced St. Bonaventure away in upstate New York, the first half total was 39 to Fordham to Bonnies 34. So it was very close. We're going to see another very close end of the half here. But nonetheless, this game's going to be great. It's going to come down to the last 5 minutes, really, and coming out of each break, too. Fordham likes to come out a little flat-footed off the timeouts, off the media timeouts, and off the inbounds. They got to push the envelope a little bit more.
Reeves taking the screen from Jacobs. Now in the left front court. Takes the screen from Lesmond, guarded by Lonati. Finds Lesmond. Lesmond driving on his right. Finds a core in the corner. His three, no good. Punch back out to Day Reeves.
Louis Lesmond with the punch out, as you said, getting that rebound. Very crucial for another Fordham possession.
Reeves working on Osasui now. Step back three, given too much time. Can't get it to fall. Core with the offensive rebound. Another chance for Fordham. Reeves still guarded by Osasui. About a foot difference between the two. Now switches over to Lanati. Takes the screen from Akor. Akor, left wing three is good. Fordham 28, St. Bonaventure 29. Just under 4 here in the first.
Roar Akor is leading Fordham in scoring right now with 8 points. He's 3 of 6 from the field, and that's another forced turnover for the Rams here. Day grabbing that ball right out of the Bonnies' hands.
Day Reeves driving with his right. Kicks it back out to Jacobs, guarded by Osasui. Reeves here on the right wing. Takes the screen from Schulte. Driving with his right. Low post. Able to draw the foul. He'll go to the line for 2. But that is going to take us to the under 4 media timeout. Fordham only down by 1. Weathered a quite significant St. Bonaventure storm. They're only down by 1. 3:33 left here in the first half. It's Fordham 28, St. Bonaventure 29. And we're going to step away for just a moment. We're going to send it back to the Rose Hill studio for yet another one-on-one scoreboard update with Gabby Price. Take it away, Gabby.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
This month of February is a dream month if you're a sports fan, with action almost 24/7 thanks to the 25th Winter Olympic Games based in Milan, Italy. The opening ceremonies were yesterday, and action on the snow and ice have already begun. The home country has taken an early lead in the medal count with 3. 1 gold in women's speed skating, and a silver and bronze in alpine skiing. Sweden and Norway are just behind with 2 medals apiece, while the U.S. has yet to get on the board in just day 2 of competition. Right now, mixed doubles curling, women's normal hill ski jumping, men's big air snowboarding, and men's singles figure skating are live from the Italian slopes. If there's any time to check out a new sport, especially during these chilly times in the tri-state area, it's the Winter Olympics. But for now, we'll send it back to Thomas and Nathan for the rest of the first half of Fordham men's basketball. With your one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Gabby Price.
All right, and we welcome you back into the Rose Hill Gymnasium. Thank you, Gabby, for that Winter Olympics update, which I will say Winter Olympics better than the Summer Olympics. But before we get back into the action, we're joined by the 3rd member of our crew up here in the Rose Hill Gymnasium, Izzy Rondazzo. What do you got for us, Izzy?
Thanks, Thomas. Well, guys, the theme for today's game is, of course, whiteout. It's a packed game. It's a packed gym full of many fans in the student section, especially, who are decked out in all sorts of white clothing. The sea of excited people in white t-shirts and other apparel is not the only aspect making the energy in this gym electric, however, because our very own Rams are looking electric out there, too. Over the course of the season, head coach Mike Magpayo has emphasized during press conferences the importance of energy when these Rams are on the court. They seem to be taking Magpayo's advice to heart because they are looking quick out there while being sharp with passing. Although their threes have not been sinking the way they have been hoping, Coach Magpayo underscored that, especially during the most recent timeout, that must change in order for the Rams to come out on top. With loud cheers from fans and the start of this game being an enthralling one, I have a feeling that the energy is only going to increase here this afternoon. Back to you guys.
Thank you for that, Izzy. Energy. That's sort of been the point of emphasis for Coach Magpayo. And Day Reeves, after taking a pretty hard foul there on the other side of the break, he is going to go to the line for 2 and potentially give Fordham the lead here after falling behind the St. Bonaventure Bonnies. Day Reeves, his first free throw is good. He's about an 81% free throw shooter. And he's been mostly quiet so far here today for Fordham. He's only got 6 points. He erupted for a career-high 31 against the Bonnies earlier this season when they traveled down to St. Bonaventure for that matchup.
Yeah, Bonnie's doing such a good job of shooting beyond the arc. They are 50% from the beyond the arc and 55% from the field. Again, Fordham had their best shooting performance against the Bonnies last time out. Both of these teams they shoot well against each other, and I think it's because of the rivalry and things like that. But Fordham opening up with a 1-2 press here with Dede up in front to put some pressure on the Bonnies.
Trying to trap Mitchell here. Fordham does have the lead, 30-29, 3:20 left here in the first. Simmons finds Charles. He's got 10 already. Abunaway finding Charles. His corner three, no good. Dede Reeves with a tough offensive rebound. Abunaway trying to get the offensive rebound, unable to do so. Just a little too hard and too physical there from Abunaway.
Despite 0-0 Frank Mitchell being in traffic, Dede jumps off 2 feet, rises up above Frank Mitchell, even being quite literally a foot smaller than him, grabs the rebound, brings it down with both hands, and secures a great rebound to give Fordham another offensive possession.
Reeves finding Jacobs here. Finds Bodija down low, tries to get the layup to go, but Osasui throws it away to Christian Henry. Christian Henry's now got the ball, slowing the pace down a little bit, working on Buddy Simmons. Osasui making amends for his turnover. He gets the ball back. Simmons weaving, finds Mitchell down low. Mitchell somehow gets the shot off there and gets it to go.
Bonnie's kind of stopping the bleeding there, and Fordham went on a 5-0 run. They'll stop that run with just closing in, knocking on the door, and 2 minutes remaining on this first half. Bonnie's up 31-30.
Christian Henry working on Osasui. Almost turns the ball over there, passes back out to Dede. 5 seconds left, driving on his left. Bumps off Buddy. Osasui affects the shot. And Abunaway tries to... Dede Reeves tried to get the shot off again, but Abunaway comes soaring in.
The refs really letting them play early, in my opinion. Frank Mitchell probably was fouled down low. There was about 3 Rams that were just suffocating him defensively, and Fordham kind of missed the whistle there as Frank Mitchell dropped something near our desk here. I think it was a kind of finger wrapping. So
yeah, maybe that's going to be
or maybe he wanted to say hi to us. Who knows?
I don't know if we're that close and that personable with Mitchell yet, but maybe that's the secret to unlocking him. He throws the lob to Osasui. Bodija able to be there to affect it. Osasui able to get it back. His layup is no good. Osasui just showing a lot of hustle and a lot of grit here today.
Mike McPio telling his team to take care of the ball, get it up court.
Akor. Left corner passes to Reeves, who finds Bodija. Christian Henry, top of the key. Working on Simmons, takes the screen from Bodija. Pull-up jumper is good. Christian Henry regains the lead for Fordham. They're up 32 to St. Bonaventure 31. 1 minute left here in the first.
And one word to describe Christian Henry as a point guard is just relentless. Even though the last possession wasn't so great, he'll come back at you even stronger, and it showed there on a nice little 2-jumper.
Simmons finds Charles. Back to Simmons on the script logo. Finds Charles. Charles finds Mitchell down low, and Mitchell with authority able to slam it home. He regains the lead for St. Bonaventure.
The basket still shaking due to Frank Mitchell. He's just built like an absolute tank. He's 6'8", 270. Could probably qualify as a NFL tight end if he wanted to. He's just such a great offensive and defensive nature. Got 11 seconds remaining in this first half for the Fordham Rams.
Shot clock is off. Dede Reeves finds Bodija down low. He's doubled. Finds Akor in the corner. He's fouled. And it looks like Akor is going to go to the line for 3. What a pass from Bodija. I don't know how he saw that, but Akor gets fouled there on the 3. 2.6 seconds left, and he has the chance to tie the game, and extend the lead to 2.
Yeah, Bodija, freshman to freshman, cross-court pass, and it's because he's 6'10", let's be honest here, that he got that pass off in the corner to Akor. Way to draw the foul for the Australian Akor, and another player that followed McPayo from Riverside. He sinks the first one. We are now knotted at 33.
Akor doesn't get to the line very often. He's only about a 25% free throw shooter, though. That's an incredibly small sample size. He knocks the first one down to knot the game at 33. Misses the second one short and to the right. Gruhovich checking in for St. Bonaventure. They'll try to get a shot off here without having to use a timeout, likely. Akor with his third free throw attempt. Louis Lesmond looks ready to check in. Akor, his free throw is good. Gets it to drop. Fordham up 34. St. Bonaventure 33. 2.6 seconds left here in the first.
Fordham sticking with this full court press. They got Day up in front on the opposing free throw line, and Louis Lesmond and Akor at the timeline. All Bonnies players are on their side of the half court line.
Simmons running now. Gets the three off the backboard, and it's too strong. Fordham, after suffering a 12-0 run there from the Bonnies, able to weather the storm, able to climb their way back. They have the lead going into halftime. It's Fordham 34, St. Bonaventure 33.
Yeah, and Fordham doing a good job defensively, even though the Bonnies are shooting 54%. It's due to a lot of points in the paint, and their just physicality inside is so deep, and they got lengthy players, but holding Frank Mitchell to only 6 points in the first half, they should be nothing but happy about that.
Yeah, they had great success against the star senior from Ontario in the first meeting. Held him to 8 points in that one. He got fouled out after playing only 29 minutes. And they're doing a great job continuing to frustrate him. He's already got 4 turnovers, 2 personal fouls. So Frank Mitchell's going to have to come out of the break. He's going to have to be hungry, and he's going to have to find a way to make the shots in order for St. Bonaventure to pull out the win.
Yeah, and Fordham's got strength in numbers so far. They got almost 5 or 6 players in that box score scoring category, but all players are making a defensive presence known and suffocating those driving lanes and not letting anything go by. Great defensive outing for, again, the 19th statistical best defense in the country.
Yeah, they've been doing a great job slowing the pace of play down. In the first meeting, it was 81, to 77. And they're nowhere near on pace, despite St. Bonaventure shooting 54% from the field. But that is going to do it for us here in the first half at the Rose Hill Gymnasium. And we're going to send it back to the Rose Hill studio for a one-on-one halftime report. We'll check back in with Gabby Price, and I'm going to send it to host Isabella Terracini. Take it away, Isabella.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Welcome to the Rose Hill Studios. I'm Isabella. I'm joined here by one of my closest and personal friends, Gabby Price. We were here just quite a few years ago, chatting it up, but now a different topic. It's Fordham men's basketball on a chilly, brisk afternoon in the Bronx. Score at the half, 34-33, Rams favor. Big day on the hill, free t-shirts being given out. The temps may be low, the scores are high. Are you enjoying what you're seeing, Gabby?
I am, and first of all, I want to say chilly and brisk is definitely an understatement for what it feels like outside. It is essentially free. It's literally freezing outside. Yeah,
You're right.
So
try to
but I like
down.
the optimism.
Yeah,
and I think
maybe it'll warm up. Maybe it'll warm up and the scores will go up. It'll be good. It'll be really good.
I mean, here's the thing, though. It's white out. We heard on the call. It's a packed gym today.
Which is really exciting.
Very exciting. And these are two teams that they're very similar in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're both of them are having troubles scoring periodically. So
both of their defenses are so strong. They're able to keep each other contained. And yet, with all that containment, like Day Reeves is able to get those crucial shots up, like ending the 14-0 run. It wasn't him. It was Lesmond. He was able to hit that crucial 3 after the timeout call. And I think just like Coach Magpio talking with the boys, like maybe not in the most calm and like, optimistic way, but I think just like knowing to rally the troops, knowing like, the Bonnies are on a run right now. Okay, I need y'all to contain, get those shots not being up, but like also don't foul. There's only been 5 fouls on the Rams so far. Like it's looking, I'm optimistic about things today, right?
Right. No, and to your point, scoring droughts are something that Fordham has struggled with all season. They've gone through, especially in the first half. They're not a very good first half team. We saw it last game. They went 0 for 8 from 3. They're already significantly better from behind the arc this game. They already have 4. So it's some of those little things that you like to see that improvement. Obviously, you still don't want to see some of those scoring droughts, but being able to stop it with a 3, with some of those momentum plays and capitalizing on some of those opportunities, it's really great to see from this Fordham team that maybe they're taking, things that happened from a loss last time. They were on a 2-game win streak, lost to VCU, who is a great team in the A10 by all means. So a tough loss, but they were in that game the whole time. So being able to respond today and being like, we're not going to go 0 for 8 from 3 in the first half, it's huge.
It's really big. And like talking about like half, comparing this half to the last time that they were out in Olean, we're looking at a very similar game. Two really defensively strong teams, but are also really quick. Both of these teams have been really decisive with the ball. They're both being like, the droughts are happening because there's just like an imbalance of following the strategic planning of the game that's happening on the floor. It's like they just need to play catch up. It's become a game of catch up. Fordham has caught up in a miraculous way. And it sounded great. It looked great. It's like this is the Fordham that the fans want to see, that the Hill would love to see on a freezing Saturday afternoon. Sláinte, shout out the Fordham Irish dance team, is dancing right now in that gym. And I know, vibes are high. Fordham's up at the half. It's just like, it's a good time to be a Ram right now.
It's a great time to be a Ram. You got a long sleeve whiteout shirt.
Yes.
That's kind of awesome.
And you've got the Super Bowl tomorrow, and you've got just like you've got the Olympics on right now. Like you can be switching channels between the Olympics and Fordham basketball and like all of this other stuff. It's great here. And Coach Magpio is talking to his team in these timeouts, and he's saying what they need to hear. And that's what's giving them that kind of, not even mobility, but just the mindset of being able to get back out there, catch up, play their hearts out, win in front of the Rams. Because I remember last game, it was home. Everybody made a huge deal about it, that it was like, we're feeling the Hill. Nathan Rogers, shout out our beautiful broadcaster right now. He himself was on the Hill in his Speedo with the rest of the swim team. It looked like it was a fun day. Sadly, I was in class, so I have FOMO. I have crazy FOMO from it. Today, however, I feel like I'm a part of the action just by being in the beautiful studio in the Bronx.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we mentioned, that game was home. It was a heartbreaker of a loss.
Yes.
And part of that, they were being out-rebounded. They were being out-hustled in that game. But I think, like I said before, that has kind of turned around. Granted, they're only up 2 rebounds against the Bonnies, but it's still an improvement. They're one of the better rebounding teams in the A10, if not the country. They're within the top 20.
It's crazy.
So being able to, you have to, one of the things that I took away from last game, because I was also hosting last game, was Fordham needs to control the things that they can control.
Yes.
Rebounding is one of those things.
And they're currently sitting at 15, which is a lot. They've got Rikus Schulte in that position, making those clutch pull downs. He's been told this every single game, day in and day out. Pull the ball down. Just pull it down. But St. Bonnies is kind of close with that, with their 13 rebounds. So it's just watching where the ball is,
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think a lot of those rebounds, Fordham excels in the paint.
Yes.
As we've said, they're not a fantastic three-point shooting team. So being able to be in the paint, get points in the paint is instrumental for the success of this Fordham team. And so being able to have defensive rebounds, to get the ball down the court, and especially on the offensive end. I mean, Fordham has 6 offensive rebounds to the Bonnies 2.
Yes.
It makes a difference in, a 1-point lead is a 1-point lead. It's not a lot by any means. But it all of that kind of contributes to even then coming back from a
14-0
yeah, exactly.
It's really interesting to see the turnover margin. It's kind of large. It's an 11-8 on St. Bonnie's. The Rams are able to make these crucial steals. They're making these really great. They have 13 points off of turnovers, 16 points in the paint, obviously, and 7 steals. Like, they are working the defense intricately. They know what they're doing. They know how they're getting it done. And with that, do you have any closing remarks before we send it back to the hill that is filled with white long-sleeve T-shirts?
I mean, what a game to be at.
What a
New
game.
York matchup.
Yes.
On this cold day. It's hot in the hill. It's heating up in the hill. It's only going to get hotter in this second half, I think, for Fordham. Stay hustling, stay hungry, want it more.
Yes, stay hungry. That's
right?
what they got to just like, that's
I
the
think
mentality.
that has to be the mindset going into it. Take more shots, make more shots, if you want to find success here. But I'm excited for the second half. It should be a good one.
And we'll see you right back here for the post-game show. And with that, we will send it right back to the filled hill. Take it away, guys.
Hey everyone, it's Lydia Perner.
And Grace McCarran.
And we are 2 of your hosts for 5 on 3.
WFUV's best, if only, hockey podcast.
With all the storylines in the tri-state area, you won't want to miss an episode.
How will Matthew Schaefer fit in with the Islanders?
And will the Rangers have a bounce-back season under Mike Sullivan?
Finally, will the Devils be able to stay healthy and hit their full potential?
Stick with us all season for all things NHL and Will Cooley updates on WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Alex Diaz.
And I'm Mary Hannah Gallagher.
And we're the hosts of All In, a women's sports podcast.
On All In, we discuss everything women's sports, from the WNBA, the AUSL, and NWSL.
No matter the sport, we have you covered.
You can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you get your podcasts.
All In is a production of WFUV Sports.
And we welcome you back into the Rose Hill Gymnasium on, again, I have to reiterate, a devastatingly cold Saturday afternoon. And it's been a pretty electric matchup so far between your Fordham Rams and the St. Bonaventure Bonnies. And Fordham, especially in those first 8 minutes, did a great job containing St. Bonaventure, particularly Frank Mitchell. But then for about 5 to 6 minute stretch there, Fordham kind of fell apart offensively, and defensively St. Bonaventure started to knock down those shots. But then Fordham able to weather the storm, able to bounce back, and they have the lead going into the second half. They have the lead 34 to St. Bonaventure 33. I'm Thomas Tisdale, joined alongside by Nathan Rogers. Nathan, as Fordham tries to grind out a victory here, we knew it was going to be close. What do you need to see from them here in the second half in order for them to get back in the win column?
And if you're Mike Pyle's Rams, it really hurts to not have Whitbourne in the paint. Bonnie's only had 4 points in the paint, and in the last 10 minutes of that first half, they had 18. So they've been owning the paint for the last 10 minutes or so of this game, but credit to the Fordham defense. They've forced 11 turnovers so far on the Bonnies, and last time out, the Bonnies in total in the whole game had 11. So they're already going to surpass that turnover margin. And how about Christian Henry? Flipping the script. We talked to McPyle before the game, he made some ill-advised passes, especially that inbound against VCU, and 0 for 7 in that last couple stretches there. But Christian Henry's 3 of his last 4 and really starting to spark this offense as the point guard and the floor general. But it's really been the roar or core show so far. He has 10 points. He's 3 of 6 from the field, and he's really been owning the glass and really just defensively making life difficult for Frank Mitchell. There's a reason why Frank Mitchell, the 3rd best scorer in the A10, arguably one of the best offensive rebounders in the country. That's a quote from Drew Joyce, who's LeBron's boy over at Duquesne, the head coach over there. He gave him high praise, Frank Mitchell, and they've really been shutting him down. He actually has a goose egg of rebounds. So that's a very proud thing to be if you're Mike McPile's Rams. But the story of the second half, it's going to be close. It's going to come down to who's going to make their free throws. Fordham was 4 of 7 from the line, and you got to the line about 3 or 4 times, couldn't connect. And the Bonnies only got to the line twice, but they were 4 of 4 and connected on both of those trips to the line. So they're going to have to own the glass, get to the charity stripe, get to those easy points, but also in transition. The Bonnies just own them in transition. We saw those fast break dunks. There's about 4 of them.
Yep.
And they have 13 points off fast breaks. The Bonnies do to Fordham's only 4. So, and that's been a point of emphasis for Mike McPile in the last 3.5 weeks. We talked about how they're playing their best brand of basketball. It's going to have to be a cohesive second half for the Fordham Rams to pull out this win at Rose Hill.
Yeah, we talked about before the game that St. Bonaventure really relies on their starters to get it done. But the story so far, I would say, for St. Bonaventure has been their bench. Osasui is a name that really comes to mind, who's been ridiculously efficient from the field. He's got 8 points on 4 or 5 shooting, but it's most notably his defensive impact. 4 steals, 4 blocks. I mean, that is frankly unheard of. He's playing with a certain veterans present, despite only being a freshman who played 11 minutes the last time Fordham played him. So St. Bonaventure is really relying on him to be great.
Exactly, and something to keep of note as well is Day has 4 turnovers, and they were costly as well, and they capitalized on almost all of them. So if the Rams want to pull out with a win here at Rose Hill on whiteout game, they're going to have to take care of the ball, especially down the stretch. And players like Rickis Schulte, again, he's one of the best offensive rebounders in the country. He's 12th in the country in total rebounds and also offensive rebounds per game, and he only has 1 rebound so far with a turnover. So they're actually locking him down in the paint. They're going to have to open up some driving lanes for him, make sure that he's cleaning up the glass the way he always does. Make your playmakers hot, and Bodesia has been kind of that playmaker offensively for them so far, so look to them to get him hot.
And that's going to take us right to the start of the second half. Dede Reeves inbounded to Christian Henry. Dede Reeves now guarded by Simmons. Passes to Henry. Jacobs now. Schulte finding Dede. Clever little pass there. Henry faking the corner. Pulls up from mid-range. Can't get it to drop. And Frank Mitchell, first rebound of the night, he's able to pull it down.
Yeah, Christian Henry had an open 3 on the near side corner here. Decided not to take it, and instead chose a tough contested 2. Kind of an ill-advised shot there. It'll be Bonnie's ball.
Simmons passes to Mitchell. Mitchell on the perimeter, guarded by Schulte. Finds Abba Neway, who's driving on Jacobs. Can't get it to drop, and that's a shot clock violation. A shot too hard there. Doesn't hit the rim, and Fordham forces yet another turnover.
And almost all of Mike McPio's staff is on their feet clapping. Such a great defensive start to this second half. They're going to start a set here offensively. Christian Henry dribbling the ball across the timeline.
Christian Henry, guarded by Charles. Finds Dede out here on the left wing. Takes the screen from Schulte. Jacobs now in the corner. Kicks it back out to Henry. Still Henry. Finds Bodesia, who's working on Osasui in the low post. Christian Henry, he's got a left corner 3. Can't get it to drop. And it's out on Christian Henry. A tough shot there for Christian Henry. Not as nearly as open of the three he passed up earlier.
Yeah, originally that was a wrinkle play for Day out on that right side wing. They closed that out and absolutely just made life difficult for the Rams. Bonaventure tried to back down. Frank Mitchell made his presence known, forced a tough Christian Henry shot in the corner, results in Bonnie's ball. Still, no points made here in the second half.
Charles stripped by Henry. Great defensive play from Christian Henry, and he's bringing it forward. Guard by Charles. Takes the screen from Bonaventure. Akor's now got the ball. Day. Out here on the left wing. Guard by Mitchell. Finds Akor. Wide open three. Is good. It rattles around a bit, but it drops. Fordham extends the lead to 4.
Roar Akor, 13 points, 3 of 6 from the field, beyond the arc, Such a great player for this Fordham team, really stepping up big.
Mitchell almost turns the ball over again, but able to get it back, poke it free. Charles, his three is good. The answer right back from St. Bonaventure. It's now 37-36 in favor of the Rams.
And look, this Bonnies team is relentless. When you hit a three and think you got momentum, you don't. They will hit you right back in your eye, and they did it right there. They've got some shooters and marksmen for sure.
Henry tries to find Schulte down low. Just a bit of an errant pass there. Simmons now. Pull-up jumper from the foul line is good. St. Bonaventure reclaims the lead, 38-37. 17 minutes left here in the second.
Yeah, Simmons gets that ball on that far side wing. Jab to his right, dribbles on his left. Free throw line extended. Jay. Love to see it, and especially from a top 3 scorer in the A10 in Simmons.
Reeves weaving. Finds Christian Henry. Left wing three. Can't get it to drop. Schulte active on the glass. Bonaventure's got it now. His putback is good. Fordham 39. St. Bonaventure 38. 16-30 here in the second.
If Schulte can't do it, Bonaventure will, and we saw it there on display. Got the offensive rebound and the putback.
Osasui double team there, but able to get the little baby hook to drop there in St. Bonaventure. It's a game of ping pong so far, back and forth. Christian Henry takes the screen from Schulte. Working on the foul line, and he's fouled. Charles thought he got a clean steal there, but a foul called there from the senior from Kennesaw, Georgia.
Yeah, the refs have definitely been letting them play so far. Factor of playing at Rose Hill probably, but look, Bonnies have been shooting the ball extremely well. So far in the second half, they're shooting 75% from the field to Fordham's 40%. They just absolutely have some shot creators, shot makers, and marksmen, if you will.
Bonaventure checks out for Louis Lesmond. Henry to inbound, finds Akor. Working on Grahovic. Finds Day. Guarded by Simmons. Akor now. Christian Henry in the corner, working on Charles. Gets a wide open mid-range, can't get it to fall. Christian Henry hasn't been able to get a shot to fall yet here in the second. Charles, he gets it to drop, extends the Bonnies lead to 3 now, under 16 left here in the second.
Charles is leading the game in scoring with 17. He's 6 of 9 from the field. Almost hasn't missed from threes, 3 of 4. Doing everything offensively and really shutting down the wings for Fordham defensively.
Day takes the stream from Schulte. Schulte, top of the key, driving on Mitchell now. Spin move, left hook, gets it to drop. Rika Schulte, nifty little move there from the forward from Germany.
And Schulte making Frank Mitchell pay for his drop coverage. He said he didn't respect him. He said, no, I'm going to drive on you and I'm going to score. Rika Schulte with 2 points so far. That's first of the game for him.
Charles driving on Schulte. And a tripping foul called there on Charles, it looks like. Christian Henry came flying in for that rebound, gets tripped up on Charles' feet there. And that's going to take us to the under 16 media timeout. Your Fordham Rams, 41, St. Bonaventure, 42. Been back and forth here in the second half. Let's hope for more of the same.
Want to be part of the Ramley? It all starts here. I'm Nathan Rogers.
And I'm Kate Cox, and we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, WFUV's exclusive podcast for all things Fordham athletics.
From the field of Moglia Stadium to the hardwood of the historic Rose Hill Gym, we've got you covered with the ins and outs of Fordham sports.
Every week, every play, every room. Tune in weekly wherever you get your podcasts. This is On the Hill.
Welcome back in to the Rose Hill Gymnasium here in the Bronx, New York. Fordham Rams trailing by 1 to St. Bonaventure. The score is 41 to St. Bonaventure's 42, and it's been back and forth so far. Both teams knocking down their shots here in the second half.
Yeah, both teams kind of finding a rhythm so far in these last couple 5 minutes of this second half. But something to note, too, again, we're going to harp on this note a lot, but fast break points has been a point of emphasis and really something that's sparking a run for this Bonnies team. They have 4 fast break points so far in the second half, and they had 13 in the first half to Fordham's 4. Fordham has 0 fast break points so far, so Fordham needs to stop them in transition. If that means fouling, go ahead. If you're Mike Magpio, that's probably what he's telling his team. We talked to him ahead of the game, and he said that fouling is something that gives you energy. If he wants his players to, kind of have more physicality, go in there and throw an elbow if it really means more energy. And this Fordham team has been physical, but without Whitbourne down low, you're looking at players like Bodija stepping up, which is great. Akor is stepping up. Schulte needs to get involved more offensively. Looks like Kingston Price will get some minutes here. Day will take a rest.
Now, Kingston Price only played 1 minute the last time out against VCU. Christian Henry now working on Gruhovich. Out here on the left wing, driving. Looking for something. Kicks it back out to Louis Lesmond. Here in the right wing. Back out to Henry. Takes a screen from Schulte. Lesmond now. Driving. Can't get to the fall, but Rika Schulte on the glass. Able to get the second chance points to fall. Fordham retakes the lead, 43-42, 14:30 left here in the second half.
Again, statistically, the 12th best offensive rebounder in the country in Rika Schulte, just picking up his 4th point of the game, but it's off a putback and an offensive rebound. Nothing short of greatness for him.
Buddy Simmons answers right back. He's just been a silent killer so far for the St. Bonaventure Bonnies, and St. Bonaventure reclaims the lead.
Something to note, too, Buddy Simmons has passed 1,000 career points. He was 5 away starting this game. He is up to 9 points so far, so he's surpassed that great career milestone for Buddy Simmons.
Kingston Price with the baseline drive there on Buddy Simmons and gets the tough layup to fall there. Fordham 45, St. Bonaventure 44. Buddy Simmons tries to answer right back and does. He reaches double figures.
Yeah, that's great defense, Thomas, but just better offense. And Buddy Simmons is one of those players that will just kill you on the wing. And he's just one of the best archers, really, in the A10 shooting-wise.
Christian Henry, cross-court pass to Jacobs. His 3 is an air ball, but Rika Schulte on the glass, able to get the offensive rebound. Louis Lesmond, straightaway 3. Can't get it to fall. Rika Schulte on the glass. Jacobs gets the offensive rebound. Christian Henry slowing things down a bit. 13 minutes left here in the play in the second.
Rika Schulte keeping the blood pumping for this Fordham offense with his offensive rebounding skills.
Christian Henry guarded by Gruhovich. Tries to get the long mid-range to fall. Off the right iron. Full court pass there to Mitchell. Throws it behind his back there to Gruhovich. Charles, the short little jumper, can't get it to fall. Gruhovich, offensive rebound. Working hard, swarmed by Rams. Charles has it now. Tough defense there from Akira Jacobs. He goes sprawling into the St. Bonaventure bench there to grab the loose ball, but he touched it when he was out of bounds, so it's still going to remain at this end of the court there. But great effort. You saw Coach Magpaio applauding that effort, and Fordham's going to certainly need more of that if they hope to pull out the victory.
Yeah, that pass by the Bonnies was intended for Osasui, and it hit Akira in the back left heel, caused him to dive for the ball on that far side baseline, and great energy so far for this Fordham team. Both these teams very relentless. Look, with these last few games left in the A10 conference play, everyone kind of knocking on the door for that first round bye. No team's going to give up.
Simmons working on Price. Pull up three. Rattles around, but it's out.
Going to be a foul on the floor.
Called there on Fordham. We'll let you know who's that on. Looks like Osasui was fighting hard for that offensive rebound. He's just been an absolute menace out here tonight for the Bonnies.
Absolutely. It'll be on Abbas Bodija. It's his first. 20 on the shot clock for the Bonnies to work with.
Osasui working on Bodija. Bodija knocks it away. Pass to Mitchell. Christian Henry now driving. Louis Lesmond slows it down a little bit. Christian Henry out here in the right corner. Working now on Osasui. His layup too strong, but he draws the foul.
Christian Henry getting ahead in transition, something that, look, the Fordham team's frankly been struggling with all season, but he gets the ball on the near side baseline, bumps with his left shoulder, creates some space, gets a great look at the basket, comes down with a foul. He'll shoot two. Again, another opportunity for Fordham to get that easy profit off the charity stripe and look to go ahead in this game and remain with the lead, going in with just about under 12 minutes to go in the second half.
Yeah, and that's going to take us to the under 12 media timeout. Your Fordham Rams trailing 45 to St. Bonaventure's 46. Going to be an exciting end to this one. But before we get you to the rest of the action, we're going to send it back to the Rose Hill studio for a one-on-one scoreboard update with Gabby Price. Take it away, Gabby.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
There's tight men's basketball games up and down the A10 right now. Richmond had a 1-point advantage over Rhode Island at halftime, 34-33. If that sounds familiar, you are correct. That was also the score of Fordham and the Bonnies at half. Right now, the score is 45-41 for Richmond. George Washington and Duquesne each had 40 apiece at half, and that score has stayed close. George Washington is up 1 point, 53-52 against Duquesne. LaSalle and St. Louis have tipped off. LaSalle with an early lead, 8-7. Another tight one on the way. Until then, we'll stay here for Fordham and St. Bonaventure. Finish out the game. Thomas and Nathan, take it away with your one-on-one scoreboard. I'm Gabby Price.
You back inside the Rose Hill Gymnasium on, again, a really cold Saturday afternoon. But before we get you caught up with the remaining 12 minutes of action here in the Rose Hill Gymnasium, we're going to check in with the third member of our crew up here in the Rose Hill Gymnasium, Izzy Randazzo. Izzy, what do you got for us?
Thomas, during the first half, it was great to see how Fordham attained 15 points off the bench, which shows just how much talent there is on this team. From Rurikor to Louis Lesmond, we've seen how the bench is certainly stacked with guys who are ready to make moves at any time in the game. The key in the second half, however, will be that Fordham needs to keep the speed and momentum up. St. Bonaventure had 13 fast breaks in the first half compared with Fordham's 4. The attitude coming from the bench and on the floor is looking great, and the coaches seem impressed with the work being done on the court. The intensity is definitely there, it's just up to the Rams to run with it. The score is close, only by 1 point, and has been throughout the game, so being able to take the lead is going to be crucial for our Rams as the second half unfolds.
Thank you for that, Izzy. And during the break there, our Fordham president, Tanya Tetlow, came up to us, and you could tell by the look on her face how important it is for the Fordham Rams to take home the win tonight. Packed crowd, the stakes not just for the A10 standings, but also just for the bragging rights of being the top dog in New York in the A10, as Christian Henry knocks down the first of his 2 free throws, ties the game up at 46 apiece, just under 12 minutes left here to play.
A lot of East Coast basketball happening this weekend, and we saw last night the Mecca basketball at the Garden. St. John's took a staggering win over UConn, and now Fordham versus St. Bonaventure, kind of a different rivalry over in the A10, but still, nonetheless, not an open seat here at Rose Hill, one of the hardest places to play in the A10. Definitely the hardest place to play in 2023, that Rose Thrill year. Again, Fordham looking to put some pressure on the Bonnies with this full court press. Day jumping up and down with his hands everywhere.
8 seconds called there, or 10-second violation called there against the St. Bonaventure Bonnies. Again, a really effective full court press there by Day Reeves, by the Fordham Rams, and they're going to get an extra possession. They're up 47 to St. Bonaventure's 46.
Saw the Fordham bench just jump up in joy, forcing another turnover. That's be another block by the Bonnies. That's like the 5th of the game, Thomas.
Yeah, Osasui with the block, and then the quick transition to Caden Charles there, and he's able to get the layup to fall. St. Bonaventure regains lead 48 to 47.
McPile telling his team to play at their own tempo here. Don't get too fast. The Bonnies like to speed you up. Fordham's going to play their half-court offense the way they always do.
Day Reeves kicks out to Bodija. Right wing three. It's good. Bodija stepping up in a big way for the Rams. He makes the lead. Fordham by 2 points. 50 to 48. Just under 11 here in the first.
Bodija wet like water. Fordham won't kill you beyond the arc, but it'll be timely shots that will get you if you're the Fordham Rams.
Buddy Simmons able to answer. It's now 50 apiece between Fordham and St. Bonaventure. Bodija backing down Mitchell. Now Schulte, guarded by Osasui. Day Reeves taking the screen. Kicks out Louis Lesmond. Left wing three is good. 2 straight made threes for Fordham, and they're up by 3.
And how about the celly from Louis Lesmond, the product from France? You know he's a smart guy, went to Harvard, can shoot the ball from anywhere. He's a 3-and-D guy, and he's really shining today, really looking to get the momentum going for the rest of the season. Louis Lesmond is.
Charles knocks down the foul line jumper there, cuts the deficit to 1. We just crossed the 10-minute mark here in the second half, and it's going to be a sprint to see who can take home this one. Schulte, guarded by Mitchell, out here on the perimeter. Nifty little pass here to Louis Lesmond, tries to get it to go, but a foul called. The dunk is no good, but Louis Lesmond going to go to the line for 2, looking to extend this lead to 3.
An off-ball screen by Day is very usable for them, for Mike McPile's offense. They kind of use Day at some point for kind of a decoy. He's had so much gravity on the floor. It opened up that driving lane for a cutting Lesmond that just went up for flight, came down with a foul, and he'll look to extend the Fordham lead at the charity stripe.
Louis Lesmond doesn't average a ton of points for Fordham, only about 3.5 per game, but he's got 9 here tonight, looking to make it 10 as he knocks down the first of 2 free throws.
Again, Frank Mitchell scoreless so far, really quiet this afternoon here in the Bronx. He's 3 of 4 shooting, 6 points, hasn't scored so far in the second half, only 1 rebound for what Drew Joyce, head coach of Duquesne, said he's the best offensive rebounder, if not the best in the country.
Abunaway driving, his floater off the glass and in. A great little shot there from Abunaway.
Abunaway is just a great player. His contribution offensively and defensively, and he's a transfer from Tennessee Tech, has that experience, and he brings that senior presence to this Bonnies team.
Louis Lesmond finds Akira Jacobs. Back out to Louis Lesmond, left wing, driving. Bodija, guarded by Charles. Floater, tries to answer. Bodija tries to get the rebound back, but Frank Mitchell too strong there. Bodija poked it out, and it's going to be St. Bonaventure ball. They're down by 1, 55 to 54, just over 9 minutes left here in the second.
Bonnies will sub out some of their players here, breathing very heavily. I know the tempo's very high. Again, the Bonnies are the 5th fastest team in terms of pace per possession. in the A10. They'll speed up their guards and the opponent's guards to the point of exhaustion, but it looks like the Bonnies are breathing very heavily, and they are breaking the Fordham press.
Lenati, right wing three is good. St. Bonaventure reclaims the lead. Now they're up by 2. 57-55, 8:50 left here in the second.
That's Leonati's first points of the game. He's 1 of 3 from beyond the arc, but he's really a sharpshooter under the radar for this Bonnies team.
Rika Schulte, left wing, guarded by Mitchell. Passes to Dede Reeves. Guarded by Buddy Simmons. Dede. Still working. Finds Rika Schulte. Hook at the shot clock buzzer. Gets it to fall. We're knotted up at 57. And we talked about how heavily those St. Bonaventure players are breathing. Buddy Simmons, he's played every single minute here for St. Bonaventure, and it looks like he's going to play the remaining 8 as they look to pull out the victory.
And how about Rika Schulte as well? Kind of a non-factor offensively in the first half, really stepping up. It's that next man mentality that Mike McPile was really teaching us before the game. It's because Jack Whitbourne, he's almost 7 feet tall, and to not have that big Australian body down low, you're going to have players like Rika Schulte offensively to pick up the slack. And we've seen it with Bonaventure in the first half, but really Schulte's stepping up big in this second half.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one impact of Rika Schulte that absolutely cannot be understated is how he's dealing with Frank Mitchell. Frank Mitchell scoreless here in the second half. He's only got 6 points on the afternoon. But we're going to step away for just a moment. We talk about how the season's a marathon, but it's going to be a sprint to the finish here. Both teams tied up with 57, 8 minutes left to go. Don't go anywhere.
Hey sports fans, it's Bobby C. I'm the sports director here at WFUV. From live broadcasts of Fordham athletics to coverage of all the professional sports teams in the NYC, we've got everything a sports fan could ask for. Like talking sports? Check out One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show, as well as our diverse collection of podcasts. If you're a Fordham student interested in joining our program, feel free to shoot me an email, bobbyc@wfuv.org. And as always, thank you to all of our listeners who support us every week. 90.7 FM is the home of WFUV Sports.
And we welcome you back into the Roseville Gymnasium here in the Bronx, New York, for what has been a fantastic matchup, a New York rivalry between the St. Bonaventure Bonnies and the hosting Fordham Rams. And Nathan, when we look at the game so far, what really jumps out to you on the Fordham side and what they could do better in the final 8 minutes here?
Yeah, it's been a game of trenches in the paint. Both teams having 10 points in the paint so far is a credit to their bigs and the depth inside of both of these teams, especially with Whitbourne being out, other players stepping up like we said before the break. But look, it's been points off turnovers that are killing the Bonnies and really just helping the Fordham Rams stay in this game. The reason why it's knotted at 57, they got 5 points off turnovers, and Fordham Rams are really capitalizing off getting fouled inside. Christian Henry with that great tough look inside, and even Day and Bonaventure getting the line. It's great to see they're 100% from the line so far in the second half. They got to play at their own pace. Bonnies will relentlessly play their half-court offense. But look, it's going to start with this full-court press that McPile will stick with, but apprehensively, it might tire them out. So he might stray away with it when we get to the 5-minute mark, but nonetheless, it's putting pressure on the Bonnies offense.
Buddy Simmons working on Day, finds Frank Mitchell out. Lonati finds Mitchell down low, back to Lonati. Abunaway, his three, can't get it to drop, but Frank Mitchell soaring in for the offensive rebound, and Buddy Simmons, left wing three, gets it to drop. St. Bonaventure, they've got a 3-point lead now.
With 7 minutes and 40 seconds left, the Bonnies are finally cohesively coming together. That's the Bonnies brand of basketball. Mitchell soaring in and kicking it out for an open three. That's how they play basketball, and Fordham Rams will have to play catch-up if that's the case for the rest of the game.
Schulte, a little give and go there with Dede Reeves. Bodija, corner three, can't get it to drop. Frank Mitchell fighting for that defensive rebound, able to get it, and Buddy Simmons now weaving, driving, and a foul called on Roar Accor. Buddy Simmons really taking over for the St. Bonaventure Bonnies. They're up by 3, 60-57. 7-12 left here in the second half.
Yeah, Fordham kind of coming out flat-footed from that break, from that timeout, and they got to look for new opportunities to score. And this happened last time out, and frankly, almost every A-10 game. There's certain points in the game in that second half where Fordham just can't buy a bucket. We saw it last time against the Bonnies. There was about 6 minutes of scoreless offense, and they saw the Bonnies creep back. I asked Mike McPio before the game, how are they going to offensively counterattack that? And he said, it starts defensively. You have to turn the defense and generate offense for the Fordham Rams. You're not going to kill the Bonnies by just not playing defense. You have to stick with what works, and now down 3 with 7 minutes to go, you're still in striking position to get another win in A-10 conference play.
Yeah, Coach McPio knew that they were going to have to take away Frank Mitchell. That was a non-negotiable. But they knew that at some point they were going to give up threes, and they wanted to avoid giving them up to Buddy Simmons. He's above a 40% three-point shooter. He's got 16 points tonight. He's made 2 of his 3 three-point attempts. And we're gonna step away for just a moment here. Fordham down by 3, 60-57, 7-12 left here in the second half. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Mike Breen, WFUV class of 1983. WFUV is the flagship station of Fordham Athletics with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to Saturday one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
And we welcome you back inside the Rose Hill Gymnasium for an A-10 men's basketball matchup between St. Bonaventure and Fordham. St. Bonaventure up by 3, 60-57. Just over 7 minutes left here to play. Buddy Simmons takes the dribble, finds Mitchell down low. Mitchell working. Can't get it to fall off the glass. St. Bonaventure asking for the ball, but it looks like it's going to be out on the Bonnies here. Fordham survives another defensive possession.
Bonnies just can't buy a bucket if you're Frank Mitchell. Very unforgiving rim this afternoon for him, but nonetheless, he's been a very athletic presence. But Fordham shooting 42%, but Bonnies shooting 70% from the field. My goodness.
Absolutely ridiculous. And you'd say that's not sustainable, but, we're under 7 minutes left here. At some point, Fordham's got to play tougher defense. Christian Henry working on Mitchell. An incredibly tough bucket. He worked his way all the way around the basket there against Frank Mitchell. Loinati, the full court pass there from Simmons, finds the freshman from Italy, and Loinati able to draw the foul there. He'll go to the line for 2.
Christian Henry, my goodness, going up against, again, what a tank build Frank Mitchell is, and he looks like a tight end out there, and for Christian Henry to go up big and strong, get that touch off the glass, that might be the toughest bucket so far for him in A-10 conference play, and goes down the court, but Troy Hamill of Fordham Rams, the assistant, telling his team after the foul by Christian Henry to huddle. You got to have that team cohesiveness, especially down the stretch. This is what they've been struggling with. 6 minutes to go. In every game so far, it feels like they just can't take the lid off the basket. They need something to give them a lift here, and it has to be leaning on your guys. Christian Henry will take a break here as the Bonnies miss the second free throw. Fordham down by 2.
Fordham 59, St. Bonaventure 61, 6:30 left here in the second. Kira Jacobs finds Bodija just inside the three-point line, hands it off to Lesmond. Day now takes the screen, driving. Rora Core, corner three. He cans it. Rora Core regains the lead for Fordham. They're up 62-61, 6 minutes left here in the second.
Rora Core with his 16th point. He's 4 of 7 from the field. He has that Klay Thompson-like release. It's so high that no one can really get to it. He's in the corner. He loves that corner too. And look, beginning to feel Fordham coming back in this game. It's so close. It's going to come down again to these last 5 or so minutes.
Buddy Simmons able to knock down the jumper. So now it's Fordham again with the deficit. Dede Reeves working on Charles. Driving, right hand layup, high off the glass, able to draw the foul. Bucket does not drop, but Dede Reeves going to go to the line for 2.
Very tough bucket there, and looks like Rora Core's getting stretched out by his teammate Louis Lesmond, kind of cramping in his quad, it looks like. Trainer going to take a look at him as Dede will head to the line. Rora Core needs to stay in this game if you're Mike McPio and the Fordham Rams.
You hope that's not anything more than a cramp, because Rora Core has just been a absolutely essential member of this Fordham team throughout the season, but especially tonight. Like you said, he's got 16 points, 4-7 from 3. He's still down. Looks like some with his right knee. Hopefully he can get back up and continue in this game, or else Fordham's going to be down a big piece.
He gets helped up by his trainer here very gingerly on his right leg. He'll hobble over to the sideline. Very unfortunate event for the Fordham Rams here as he gets helped off. Kind of fireman carry there. He'll get looked after. Hopefully he can return to this game. He's a very tough player and such a young presence for this team, but really Mike McPio has always talked to his, presence on this team and his future. He really has a future in basketball and even getting looked at by some NBA teams and even some Power 5 teams. But look, he's a great product out of Australia, and again, it's a testament to Mike McPio's ability to his international flair, but also his ability to bring players from what a great program he set at UC Riverside, took that program from nothing to something, and he's looking to do the same here at Fordham and just elevate each team that he's been on. He was at Columbia. He loves New York, so loves playing at Rose Hill, but who doesn't, right?
I mean, absolutely. With a crowd like this, this crowd just absolutely raucous right now as Dede Reed knots things up at 63, 5:31 left here to play. Dede with a chance to give Fordham the lead.
Fordham going with a really big lineup. They got Akira, Lesmond, Schulte, and a Boss with Dede. So look for them to really get the paint involved, but I think it's more of a defensive look as well. Can't let Frank Mitchell get hot in these last 5 minutes. That is the worst case scenario if you're Mike McPie.
Absolutely. Buddy Simmons working on Dede Reeves. Kick ball called there against Louis Lesmond, trying to block off the pass to Caden Charles. Buddy Simmons still has not checked out of this game. He's been playing for 35 minutes straight, basically. So credit to him, and he's still able to operate at such a high level. Charles back to Simmons. Back to Charles out here on the right wing. Driving baseline. Bodija with the steal, able to block the pass to Abunawe. Dede Reeves looking to slow things down. 5 minutes left to go. Fordham up 64-63.
That's the Bonnies' 16th turnover. Credit to Mike McPile for making the defensive altercation and going to a 2-3 zone.
Dede 3 is good! Dede Reeves. Fordham's got 67. St. Bonaventure's got 63. 4:43 left to go. That is a big-time bucket for Dede Reeves.
And all of a sudden, you feel this energy in Rose Hill because Fordham's almost shooting 50% from the field. They're at 46 now. We got 4 or 5 players above double digits, strength in numbers for the maroon and white this afternoon.
Dede with the steal. You heard the crowd chant defense, defense, and Dede took that to heart and gets the steal, slowing things down a little bit. Dede guarded by Buddy Simmons. Takes the screen from Schulte, working on Mitchell now. Kicks to Lesmond. Now back out to Reeves on the logo. Schulte now tries to find Reeves, but just too hard on the pass. Abunaway able to pick it up, trying to go coast to coast. But it looks like a held ball called there on the floor. What a flurry of action. Fordham up 67, St. Bonaventure 63. Just under 4 minutes left here in the second.
5-0 run for the Rams in the last minute and a half, and it's been falling for them beyond the arc, really shifting the momentum. It's really coming through here at Rose Hill, something that hasn't been happening. They're really just flipping the script, and I see them being more patient. We talked to Mike Pyle before the game. We can't get too sped up and too caught up with what the Bonnies are doing. We have to stay true to ourselves and true to the offense that we've been running all year.
We're going to send it back for one last time to the Rose Hill studio for a one-on-one scoreboard update with Gabby Price. Take it away, Gabby.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
The wait for more football is finally almost over. In just over 24 hours, the biggest sporting event of the year will kick off. Super Bowl 60 being played out west in San Francisco between the New England Patriots and Seattle Seahawks has a planned start time of 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And this year, it really is a super day as it helps commemorate the USA's 250th anniversary, a semi-quincentennial, if you will. From the sideline design to the coins for the coin toss, the America 250 logo will be prominently featured. And if all of that isn't enough, Bad Bunny's performing at halftime. So lots to look forward to tomorrow, and our very own Joe Henry and Brendan Chori will have live coverage from the game. So make sure to follow WFUV Sports wherever you are active on social media. But for now, we'll send it back to Thomas and Nathan for Fordham men's basketball. With your one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Gabby Price.
And we welcome you back inside the Rose Hill Gymnasium on what is a pretty fantastic matchup between the Fordham Rams and the St. Bonaventure Bonnies. And before we get you into the final 4 minutes of action here at Rose Hill, we're joined yet again by the third member of our crew up here in the Rose Hill Gymnasium, Izzy Randazzo. Izzy, what do you have for us?
Yeah, Thomas. So whenever I'm reporting from the sidelines, the number one thing I am most consistently hearing from head coach Magpio and assistant coach Highland is that this team needs to get up and rebound. With the Bonnies out-rebounding the Rams 24-22, it is vital that Fordham is able to get up to prevent any second-chance points from St. Bonaventure. This team has an average of 40 rebounds per game as a team, and they are significantly below their average this afternoon. This has been such a close game since the second it started, and now more than ever, time is of the essence for the Fordham Rams. Back to you guys.
Thank you for that, Izzy. Yet another fantastic sidelines report, and like you mentioned, rebounding is going to be essential for this Fordham team. They're going to find a way to keep Frank Mitchell off the glass. The St. Bonaventure is eventually going to miss a shot at some point, although it doesn't seem like it. They're making almost 70% of their shots. And Fordham's got to be there to corral the rebound. Osasui looks like he was fouled there by Dede Reeves. Dede trying to get yet another steal.
But the story in the second half so far has really been Fordham's ability to kill that narrative that they're a bad three-point shooting team, and they're shooting 50% from beyond the arc, 5 of 10, and that is probably the best second half three-point shooting performance they put on this year, and that's credit to players like Dede and even Christian Henry and Rurakor and Bodija as well.
Frank Mitchell driving there on the left with his left hand, goes up for the shot, stripped there by Rika Schulte. Rika Schulte asking for Coach Magpio to review that, but only 4 seconds left on the shot clock.
They'll look at the tablet. The Fordham bench won't replay it. or review it, so it'll be
Buddy
Bonnie's
Simmons
ball.
working, foul line jumper. Can't get it to fall. Frank Mitchell on the glass, though. Buddy Simmons' three is good. Cuts the deficit to 1. Fordham up 67 to St. Bonaventure 66. 3:15 left here in the second half.
And Buddy Simmons is just one of the 3 Atlantic 10 players to have 60 or more three-pointers this season, and he's just one of those archers that you can't have any breathing space for.
Bodija working on Osasui. Backing down him. Low hook, can't get it to fall, but a loose ball foul called there on Abunaway. Rika Schulte was in a fantastic position there to get the offensive rebound, just nudged off the ball, and the refs thought that was a foul.
It will not be a shooting foul. They'll take the inbound under the basket on the Fordham baseline, but 20 seconds on the shot clock, they really have an opportunity to shift the momentum, take it away from what the Bonnies have done with Buddy Simmons, and get their bigs involved.
Christian Henry back in, inbounds it to Bodija, now back to Christian Henry. Christian Henry slowing the game down. 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Guard by Charles. Takes the screen from Bodija. Working on Charles. Bodija, straightaway three, no good. Rika Schulte asking for a foul. Looks like he was being held there, but the refs aren't buying what he was selling, and it's going to be St. Bonaventure ball. You heard on that Fordham possession the cheers of "Let's go Bonnies." I mean, the Bonnie faithful is here, and they're here in force.
Well, they always travel well. That's what the Bonnies do. But look, if you're Bodija, you're one of 2 from the field beyond the arc. Can't afford to take that shot early in the shot clock with 2.5 minutes left. Need to kind of work that shot clock down, get a better shot open. But Fordham, again, with these 2-3 zones with their bigs, try to stop the Bonnies.
Abunaway driving, can't get it to fall. Frank Mitchell on the glass. His putback, can't get it to drop. Charles driving there. Christian Henry tried to poke it free, and he's going to be called for the foul there. Frank Mitchell still hasn't gotten a shot to drop here in the second half, but he's been incredibly active on the glass, particularly in the last couple of minutes.
Smart foul by Christian Henry after the kind of ping-pong bobble up under the rim to stop this Bonnies offense of breathing for a second so the defense can get set.
Buddy Simmons inbounds it to Charles. Charles guard by Henry. Back to Buddy Simmons. Still has played every minute here for the Bonnies. Guarded by Reeves. Working on Schulte now. Osasui passes to Simmons. Simmons, floater, way too strong. Akira Jacobs on the glass. Akira Jacobs falls out of bounds, and they're going to say no foul. It's going to stay here with the Bonnies. The question is, did Akira Jacobs have full possession of that ball, and will the Bonnies get a full shot clock to potentially take the lead?
It'll be a shot clock violation. Fordham will get the ball. Aiden Crotty doing jumping jacks on the sideline. Christian Henry will inbound the ball. The student section is rocking. 1:52 left in the second half. Fordham up by 1, and if you're Fordham, you're going to have an offensive set here. They're going to call something for their bigs, but look, take that shot clock all the way down. Take as much time off the clock as you can. You don't want the Bonnies to have room to play with.
Dede working on Simmons. Slips a little bit. Yeah, he's called for the travel. Dede, court just a little too slippery for him, and he turns the ball over. Fordham up 67, St. Bonaventure 66. A minute 34 left here in the second.
Bonnies want to talk over what they want to do on offense, and if you're the Fordham Rams, definitely after not having to capitalize on that turnover, getting that call, that shot clock violation, and traveling is obviously just not what you want. And again, it's just a testament to what they've been doing all season. It's kind of just frankly falling apart in the second half, especially with 5 minutes to go. But we knew going into this game it was going to be close. It's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be who can get that extra possession. And Fordham is one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the A10. And so you're going to look at playing your bigs, play with your hot playmakers now. And Rurik Kaur is that player for you right now. He just absolutely can't miss. Look for him to really be this clutch player. And if you're Christian Henry as well, you got 5 turnovers. You've got to take care of the ball. This happened on Tuesday at home against VCU. He's the inbounder for this team, and you can't throw the ball away in any case if that's a scenario. But Fordham will put pressure on a full court press here, and Bonnies will look to break it, but my goodness, it is loud in here, Thomas, and this will be a great ending to another A10 basketball game this Saturday afternoon.
Rourke Hoare back from the medical table, but still out of this game. He's on the bench. Not sure if he'll check back in for this one. Abunaway finds Simmons. Simmons driving. Lob to Osasui with ill intentions. Throws it down. Gives St. Bonaventure the lead. 68-67. What a play.
Wow, he took flight there, and probably Fordham got away with a foul there.
Yeah.
Probably could have been an and one, but Mike McPio doesn't like what he sees. He wants to talk it over. Fordham's down by 1 with a minute here, and they're on the outside looking in for this W. You can kind of feel Rose Hill collapsing a little bit in Bonnie's fashion. It's going to be tough for the Fordham Rams to come out with this W, but it's going to be a game of glass. You saw it there. They drew that lob pass up. When we talked to Mike McPio before the game, Mark Schmidt, the head coach of the Bonnies, he's such a smart coach, and he's the longest tenured leader of the St. Bonaventure men's program, and he's the winningest coach in Bonnie's history, 2-time A10 Coach of the Year, but he is the product of how this Bonnies team continues to close out at the end of the second half, and you can see it in 21-22 in that season. He led the Bonnies to their first AP top 25 ranking in over 40 years, so he knows what it takes to having to win, and Mike McPio knew he was going to have something cute drawn up, and that was what it was. Fordham just not big enough to kind of collapse that dunk. And it looks like there's almost 10 dunks so far in this game for the Bonnies.
Yeah, Schmidt, an incredibly experienced coach, and obviously he knows how to win. The question is, does Coach McPio know how to win? We saw that they know how to win against St. Bonaventure early in the season, but the question is, can they replicate the effort here tonight? Christian Henry to inbound, finds Dede Reeves. Back to Christian Henry, guarded by Charles. On the script logo, still Christian Henry. Dede working on Simmons, drives, gets tied up in a foul called. Charles looks to the refs and to his bench in disbelief. Dede Reeves a little bailed out there, and Fordham as a whole bailed out there. Not a lot happening on that possession, only 3 seconds left. But it looks like Dede is going to go to the line for 2.
And if you're the Fordham Rams, that's the best case scenario. You're looking at the bonus now and under a minute to go. Again, we talked about how this team struggles to get to the line, get that easy profit, but Dede looking to capitalize on that foul and take the lead.
Dede to tie the game. Can't get it to drop. Fordham still down by 1. It was a 1-and-1. Disastrous for Fordham. 42 seconds left. Crowd is on their feet. Coach Schmidt wants a timeout to talk things over, drop a play to potentially put this game to bed for the Bonnies. Dede Reeves, I mean, he's been the star player for Fordham this season, but he really needed to knock that one down.
It's hard not to believe that Mark Schmidt won't draw up a play for Frank Mitchell here. He's just been a body too strong for Fordham so far, and they got shooters, but you need an easy 2 if you're the Bonnies here. Can't foul if you're the Rams. But look, 41 seconds left, still time to work with. But this is the point in the season where there are no moral victories anymore, and this team needs W's in that win column. And yes, there's good losses, there's good wins, but it's time to win for the Fordham Rams, especially in a league that continues to catch up ahead of them, and they've just playing catch up the whole season, and in such a deep league this year. But they got to find a way to close out this game and kill that narrative that, you know, they aren't a clutch team in the A10, but they're going to stick with this zone defense, if I'm not surprised, here in this last set for the Bonnies. But again, Bonnies so physical, it's going to be a tough possession here for the Fordham Rams defensively.
Yeah, they absolutely need a stop in it. You cannot give up the 3 here. That would make it a 4-point game and a 2.2 possession game. Buddy Simmons, guarded by Dede. 35 seconds left.
Fordham with man-on-man defense.
You hear the chants of defense. Rika Schulta. Buddy Simmons, still guarded by Reeves. Buddy Simmons, floater. He knocks it down. Buddy Simmons putting the team on his back. He's played 40 minutes. He's got 23 points, 10 of 15 from the field, and an incredibly clutch shot for the junior from Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, incredibly clutch shot from, again, one of the best shooters in the A-10, if not in the country, especially on the East Coast, if you will. But, again, the pump fake by Buddy Simmons on the left side wing, got Day-Day in the air, right side dribble, rose up, free throw line extended. He's going to make that day in and day out, puts the Bonnies up by 3 with 22.7 on the clock. Fordham's still in the bonus, so they're not on the outside looking in. It's going to be a tough possession for them. We'll see what Mike McPio draws up, but tough defensive possession. But look, in hindsight's always 20/20, but they were with zone coverage. Mike McPio decides to go with man. It ended up being the killer in the coffin for them in that possession, and it got Day-Day in the air, and what a great player Buddy Simmons is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can't sing his praises enough. In a night where Frank Mitchell's been bottled up by this Fordham team, Buddy Simmons has really stepped up for St. Bonaventure. And with about 22 and a half seconds left, Fordham doesn't necessarily need the three. If they are given a quick two, they can take that and foul. Obviously, you want a three, but you feel like the ball is going to be in Day-Day Reeves' hands.
Yeah, they're going to call some wrinkle play for him, but honestly, he has so much gravity, and they used it a couple plays ago. Well, they'll set an off-ball screen for him. Someone else will cut down low, like a Lesmond or an Akira, for an easy bucket down low. Maybe look for a foul. Again, they are in the bonus. So if the Bonnies can't really foul here, you're up by 3. And the Bonnies shooting so well from the field in the second half, 61.5%, 16 of 26 from the field. Just absolutely magnificent offense for the Bonnies in the second half.
This was an area where Fordham struggled last time out against VCU. It doesn't look like St. Bonaventure is going to be going with a very aggressive full-court press, but Christian Henry in that game against VCU couldn't inbound it, but it's Day-Day Reeves to inbound it here today. Finds Bodija. Back to Day-Day Reeves. Brings it across the timeline. Working on Buddy Simmons. Kicks it out to Bodija. Reeves now, left wing. Takes the screen on Osasui. Tries to get the 2. Tries to draw the foul. And it's out on Rika Schulte. Day-Day Reeves looking desperately at the ref for a call there. But St. Bonaventure survives that possession. Fordham, 5.9 seconds left. Fordham down by 3. It's going to take a miracle for the Fordham Rams to pull this one out.
And to be fair, Thomas, the refs have been letting them play all afternoon. So Day-Day looking for a whistle there. Not the smartest play, but again, you're in the bonus, so not a horrible look there. And you could go either way on if that was a foul or not, but it'll be a game of free throws now and see if the Fordham student section can kind of get in the Bonnies' head. But again, outside looking in here for the Rams. Just couldn't get it going in the last 2 minutes. Fordham scoreless in the last 5 minutes, and the Bonnies went on a 7-0 run.
Yeah.
That's just the story of the game there. It was almost knotted until then, and Bonnies just pulled away.
St. Bonaventure not in the bonus yet, so it looks like Fordham's going to have to foul again. Only 0.6 came off the clock the first time. They fouled Buddy Simmons, which is probably the worst player you could have fouled there. Number 1 in the conference in free throw percentage. He makes about 92% of his free throws, just not who you want to send to the line.
Yeah, an unfortunate fall for the Rams so far. Both teams in the bonus with 4.2 remaining. Again, you can still kind of get a really quick bucket, but it's going to take a miracle for the Rams to pull out a W here.
Fordham does still have a timeout, so they can advance the ball. But with Buddy Simmons at the line, pretty worst case scenario for Fordham. Simmons with his first shot.
He misses
it. He misses it. 2 seconds left. Christian Henry calls a timeout. 1 second left.
Oh my goodness. What a turn of events. That's college basketball for you.
That is college basketball.
And that's A10 basketball for you right there. Any team can lose to any team at any moment. These teams are so close together statistically. It's only right that Buddy Simmons misses that free throw with about 50% of Rose Hill misses. 50% of Rose Hill is St. Bonaventure traveling so well, where Fordham has 1 second exactly on the clock.
The refs are looking at how much time is left. Obviously, Christian Henry had to advance it past the half-court line to get a side out for Fordham. So at most, you would imagine 1.5 seconds left. Not enough for, maybe enough for a dribble and a shot.
And this is a tough call. Who do you go with if you're Mike McPaio? Look, this team, the Fordham Rams, won't kill you beyond the arc, but they do have timely shots to give. And talk about timely, you got 1 second left for the game to tie it up with a 3. And if you're the Bonnies, you're closing out on the wings like there's no tomorrow. So gonna have to draw up something interesting. I believe they'll inbound the ball on the far side wing, and it'll probably be Christian Henry inbounding it, but looking forward to what Mike McPaio draws up here. You got shooters. You got Louis Lesmond, who's an underrated shooter. You got Akira as well. Yeah. And you have a Bodija. These are players that have those high releases that can get the shot off in that 1 second. So it's going to be a testament to who can get it in the basket.
Yeah, based on the numbers tonight, you'd want Rorcore taking that shot. He's made 4 of 7. But unfortunately, it looks like he is out for that play. So the next up would probably be Day Reeves. But St. Bonaventure has to know that that is the target and the focus for Fordham. So I'd imagine it's someone else who's going to take that shot. I mean, I got butterflies in my stomach, Nathan. I mean, what a finish.
Oh, I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out for sure.
The refs add 0.3 seconds left. So it's going to be 1.3 seconds left for Fordham to try and tie this game. I don't know how much that changes in terms of the shot and the play you can dial up.
This team never fails to raise my blood pressure, Thomas. I mean, my goodness. Of course, the refs will put an additional 0.3 on the clock, so the Rams will have 1.3 on the clock remaining. Christian Henry will inbound.
No timeouts for either team, so this is it. This is the play. The refs making sure everything's tied out. Christian Henry, guarded by Mitchell. Finds Akira Jacobs. His 3. No good! No good! He had a shot. It rattled in and out. Hit the right rim. Hit the left rim. But it is no good. Your Fordham Rams fall to the St. Bonaventure Bonnies. Just a heartbreaking loss, especially considering Fordham had 0 points in the last 5 minutes.
And it was kind of a miracle they even inbounded the ball properly. They almost didn't get it in. They squeezed it into Akira on the far side corner. He caught up, and the Bonnies player on defense really didn't even have his hands up. Akira got a good look, but it was on a double jump, and it almost was that Kawhi-looking Game 7 on that rim. It just bubbled in and out. But that is the whole entire philosophy of this Fordham team, and you fight, fight, fight. You've been dealing with injuries. Rorcore falls again. And without Whitbourne, they played so well on the glass, but with a team like the Bonnies shooting 58% in total, but really just 61% in the second half, really hard to fight against that. Another good loss for the Fordham Rams in terms of morality and things like that, but it's that point in the season again where you're looking forward towards March and you're looking forward towards that A10 conference tournament in Pittsburgh, and there's no time for good losses. You need to be in the win column.
Yeah, like you mentioned, another competitive loss for Fordham. We knew this was going to be a dogfight coming in this one. We knew that St. Bonaventure was going to be hungry to try and avenge their earlier season loss against the Fordham Rams back on January 10th, in which they lost a tight, close one, 81-77. But it's a little bit disheartening from a Fordham perspective. They were in the driver's seat. They were in control. And despite St. Bonaventure being ruthlessly efficient from the field, 58% from the field, 54% from the three. Fordham had done just enough. They had forced enough turnovers. They had limited Frank Mitchell to only 6 points. Their top scorer and the second top scorer in the A-10 only had 6 points. And yet Fordham falls to 3-8 in the conference. St. Bonaventure, with that win, ties Fordham at that 10 line, and we're waiting on what Richmond and LaSalle can do to see where Fordham ends up at the end of the night.
And Thomas, it really came down to the turnovers as well, and Bonaventure really clicked up in the paint in the second half. They ended up with 34 total points in the paint, and Fordham turned the ball over 21 times. And I said time and time again, where's that scoring drought going to be? Because it's going to happen. For some reason, even when Fordham playing at home, there's going to be that scoring drought. And Fordham just couldn't buy a bucket. They went scoreless in the last 5 minutes, really. And Bonnies went on a 7-0 run, and that was the game right there. And you kind of felt that heartbeat come back alive when Buddy Simmons missed the one free throw, and you had a chance. But Day traveled, and it was kind of downhill from there. And definitely a really tough loss. And if you're Mike McPio, you're punching your whiteboard. But again, great look at the last second there with 1.3 remaining, just bobbled in and out. And bobbled in and out is a phrase that you could describe this Fordham season with in one phrase. It's just every game's been bobbled in and out. They've beat Bonaventure before, so they'll kind of trade games with them in this 2-game series. It'll be 1-1 with Bonaventure, but definitely a tough loss. And Fordham had strength of numbers. They had almost 30 points off the bench. Bonaventure, again, Mike McPile told us before the game, they rely on their top 5 guys, and they did so even without one of the best scorers in the A-10 in Frank Mitchell. He was basically a non-factor, really. And it's definitely tough to see. But when you give up a combined 44 points to the Bonaventure guards, it's tough to come out with a W, even at home.
Yeah, absolutely. The focus was taking away Frank Mitchell, and without Jack Whitbourne, we thought that was going to be a struggle. But Fordham really excelled in that department. We thought they were going to be. If they eliminated Frank Mitchell, we thought there was no way that Fordham could potentially lose this. But Buddy Simmons just stepped up in a big way. 40 minutes from Buddy Simmons.
Huge performance by him, and he's going to be the reason why this Bonaventure team could be a sneaky postseason kind of third day almost team in the A-10.
Yeah.
And it's due to Mark Schmidt, really. His time management in the last 7 or 8 minutes was the reason they went on that 7-0 run. His timely timeouts, his lob pass, cute little play he drew up. I mean, it's really hard to defend that. And he knew what it had to take to beat this Fordham team. Each coach knew that it was going to come down to that last couple of plays. Definitely disheartening for this Fordham team. And you look at their upcoming schedule, pretty not that hard compared to the first half of the A-10 play. They'll go to St. Joe's down the I-95 and on Tuesday night. That'll be in Philly. And then they'll go to Rhode Island as well and then host Loyola Chicago, who's been struggling historically this year. So they have some opportunities to get some wins, although St. Joe's is really hot right now. But Rhodey, Loyola Chicago, Davidson, and then at VCU, you have a chance to kind of go 3-1 maybe before going to VCU. I'll be on the call for that game on the 28th, but there is kind of this room to go on a little bit of a run and knock on that not playing on a first day type bye. But, you know, we'll see how the LaSalle game turns out today. But, again, Fordham's just going to be on the outside looking in, unfortunately, and you can't really blame it on anything other than you got to make your buckets when you have to make your buckets. And we talked to Mike McPile before the game. It really just comes down to, can you take the lid off the basket when you can't buy one? And they couldn't do that today against the Bonnies.
Yeah, we know that this Fordham team can turn in good quality performances, but the question is, for Coach McPio, is when are those performances going to turn into wins? We thought they'd found that recipe for success in that 2-game spell before the VCU game, but they fall to VCU in a close game, one where Fordham was really competitive, and you thought this was a game where Fordham was going to be able to right the ship a little bit and get back in that win column. but unfortunately, they weren't able to do so. Like Nathan mentioned, they traveled down to Philadelphia on the I-95 to face St. Joseph's Tuesday at 7 p.m., and we'll have you covered for that one. For Izzy Rondazzo and Nathan Rogers, I've been Thomas Tisdale. We say so long from the Rose Hill studio, and we'll send it back down to the Rose Hill studio, saying goodbye from the Rose Hill Gymnasium for a one-on-one post-game report. We'll check back in with Gabby Price, and I'm going to send it to host Isabella Terracini. Take it away, Isabella.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Thank you, Thomas. Welcome back to the beautiful studios, back to the chilly campus. We're back outside, a couple steps away from a tragic loss, a really, really, really close game, really good, came down to the wire. It was exciting. It was the game that you wanted to be at if you were going to be at any game, but they just could not finish. It was a little bit off. They were playing like a team. Everything was looking good. There were some really great scoreless runs that were scoreless on the Bonnie side. There was some great, Reeves had some great shots, and we're looking at a legendary Louis Lesmond who is averaging 3 points per game before today, and now he just absolutely showed out. He showed us who he really can be. We saw a different version of him coming out with just about 10 points today, which, we'll take it. We'll totally take it. Love him to death. But what'd you see? What'd you get? What'd you gather?
I mean, it's definitely a disappointing loss, right? Like you just said, this was a game that it felt like they got back in the driver's seat after that first half where they lost it a little bit, made the comeback, was up 1.5 points. And all you really wanted was for them to come out strong after halftime to continue some of this momentum. You're playing at home. You're playing with a fan base. Whiteout day. It's packed. And they were able to do it for a while. I mean, they were dropping threes, which was good. Like you said, Louis Lesmond making a couple really big plays. Day doing his things. You had 4 different Fordham players in the double-digit category. So on the stat sheet, it was a great collective performance by the Rams. Ultimately, though, and it's been a little bit of a story this season when it comes down to the last 3 minutes of the games. It kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
And so it's just frustrating sometimes, when you watch and cover some of these games where it's the first 10 minutes of the first half, it takes them a while to warm up, and then it's the last 5 minutes where they can't close, even if they do have a lead. And like Thomas and Nathan said, they went 5 minutes without scoring any points.
In the last 5 minutes. Those were the most
5 minutes
crucial
of the game.
5 minutes of the game.
Exactly. So I think it's a combination of that. I thought, I think it was Thomas who said the time management between the Fordham coaches and the St. Bonaventure coaches. I think that makes a difference. And that's another problem that we've seen this season as well. In the last game also, it really, in the last couple minutes of the game, there's just mistakes that are made that are avoidable. And for Fordham, they need to figure out a way to avoid those mistakes.
Absolutely. I think that was well put. I think it's waiting until the end of the game to kind of let the reins go a little bit. Just looking at it from any kind of athletics, it's those final minutes are always going to be the most important. Those comebacks, you have to have the ability to just be able to maintain control, maintain stability throughout the entire game. And I think going those last 5 minutes, a full 5 minutes without scoring, it's not ideal. Obviously.
It's not going to help you at all.
It's really not. And it kind of just shows the imbalance of not being able to finish the games, finish the momentum. Like you were saying, there was momentum coming in and out of half, going into half with the lead, coming out of half with the lead, and then going on having kind of a storybook second half. But just the ability to not be consistent throughout all 20 minutes of the second half. We're starting to see a theme. And that's kind of the point, the nail on the head that Coach Bagpaio has to work on with his team.
Yeah, I think it's exactly that. We've talked about Fordham having to play a full 40 minutes of basketball this entire season. And I mean, at this point, I do think you have to do exactly what you said at this point. It's 2 20-minute halves. If you're also going to have maybe a 5-minute stretch where you're not playing your best, it can't come.
No.
You have to dig deep. And when Day travel, like
there's
missing
the little mistakes,
missing jumpers. It's all the little ones at the end of the game,
the in and out, the bobble around
end
bit
up mattering
that we
the
had.
most.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, and some of it is just like you can't always force shots to fall. You just have to keep taking them until they do. But it's just, I think some of those are avoidable things that, when it comes down to the wire. And also you don't want it even to get down to the wire like that. I mean, but the Bonnies only scored 7 points in that 5-minute stretch that Fordham did not score. That's not that's not like a crazy stat. It's like, oh my gosh, 7 points.
That's just such an Olean stat,
Yeah, no, I mean, even if Fordham matched that by half, if they made 1 3 or got sent to the foul line twice, let's say, we were saying before we got on air, get sent to the foul line. They're not a great free throw shooting team, but at least you're forcing something to happen in the game that might throw them off. And I mean, getting sent to the line, they kind of got a lucky break with Simmons not making that free throw. So it's just about capitalizing on what they're given.
Absolutely. And I think the most important part is just like knowing when the mistakes can be made and when they can't. They were so composed. They were so well composed. 5 fouls in the first half. Coming into the second half, it just looked a little sloppy from both sides. It just like they kind of lost it. And I feel like that's kind of just what happens in the game of basketball. It's so fast paced. There's so much going on at all time. You're just running back and forth. You're getting exhausted. That's why when you get those foul trips, you take that break and you understand, you rethink where you can go from here, what you've done, how you can kind of fix it. But it just wasn't. It was a great game. It was a really well played game. I mean, just running through some numbers, we're ending the game with actually not ideal 30 rebounds for St. Bonnies and 25 for the Rams, but it's okay because Rikus Schulte, he understood what he was being told in the huddle. There were 11 offensive rebounds compared to the St. Bonnies 9. And 14-21 in favor of St. Bonnies for defensive rebounds.
And Schulte, by the way, had 5 offensive rebounds.
Yes.
So that's and no defensive rebounds.
Yes.
So he was on top of that offensive glass.
He's always on top of that, no matter how many times. He understands, but it's can he do it defensively? Not all the time. But I mean, it's looking. They look to be improving. They're not being so careless in and out of the paint. In the paint, they're not kind of piecing together everything. But even behind the line, it's just still looking a little sloppy. However, their defense, they're able to maintain it. However, it's just sometimes they get out of control and they hit those fouls and they're looking at the refs like, I didn't just do that, or, hey, he hit me. And then it's just it causes this whole snowball effect and all of this. But a really well-played game, a well-fought battle. We're looking forward to Philly on Tuesday. The St. Joe's Hawks, they are doing good. It's going to be a challenge, but it'll be a really cool story if they pull it out.
It's going to be a battle, but Fordham has been battling good teams recently.
Yes.
This is a game that, they probably should have won. They've already beat the Bonnies, but I think going into St. Joe's, you know that the past 2 games that you've played, if things were a little different in both of the last 5 minutes of this game and also the game against VCU, you would be looking at a different outcome. So I think you go into St. Joe's with the same confidence that you have had the past 5 games.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
St. Joe's is a beatable team.
Yeah, every team is a beatable team. And I think that's just something that you've learned. Even those last 2 undefeated, Miami, Ohio, and Arizona, they play today. Who's to say they're not going to get beat today? I don't know.
Someone will.
Somebody has to do the job. Somebody has to put the hammer on the nail it into the coffin. But for Fordham women's basketball.
Men's. By the way.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. That is all on me. Oh my God, Fordham men's basketball.
We love Fordham women's basketball.
We do. Shout them out too. I have no idea when they play next. LOL. But they will go down. Men's will go down to Philly on Tuesday to face off the St. Joe's Hawks. They're currently sitting at 7-3, so it's going to be a challenge, but it'll be a really good challenge. 7:00 Eastern, as always. So thank you so much to those hardest workers in the gym, Thomas Tisdale, Nathan Rogers, and Izzy Randazzo. Great call today, guys. Keep up the great work. Shout out the incredible studio crew, including Travis Hayden, Ferris Alman, and my beautiful bestie for the Rusty, Gabby Price. I have been Isabella Terracini. Also, can't forget about our beautiful Bobby Chaffardini, our sports director, and Fordham Men's Basketball is a production of WFUV. Stay warm, everybody.